Hello, Swivelheads. It's Greg Allison. Green Gray is coming to you late live. Will the United States attack Iran? What will we do? There's some response cooking. Something's about to go down, but what will it be? How far will it go? Will it start small and escalate beyond what they're starting now? It seems this whole thing just keeps escalating and just keeps ratcheting up. I warned you guys a few days ago. I said it's like a whole flock of black swans is ready to take flight. Well, I think some of them are starting to fly. Guys, if you don't know what a black swan is, it's one of those events that occur that changes the world, unexpected event that just occurs and changes the whole world, and usually not for good, like Pearl Harbor, like 9/11, like 7 October. And now they just suddenly are just coming like shoes dropping one after another. Yikes, guys. It is getting intense. It is really getting intense. If y'all saw my videos I posted earlier today, much earlier on my Silverhead News and several hours later over here on Green Greg's about what happened over in Jordan at the Tower 22 in Jordan, where American base was attacked while the American troops were sleeping, and it it ended the lives of 3 so far non-American soldiers. There was something like 34, 35 that are injured. I believe the count is 34 last I heard. And I hear that 8 of those are critically injured. So the ones that pass away could go higher. So, and all this news is changing minute by minute. It's the wee hour, so we're not getting a lot of the updates, but things are in motion. We have, it's reported somewhere between 6 to 9 of our large KC-135 tanker aircraft en route to Europe, maybe to the Mideast via Europe. Maybe some are going straight to the Mideast. We have a lot of these en route. These are the planes that use to refuel fighter aircraft so they can get more range, longer distance. So, guys, it's getting intense. There have been calls for America to hit Iran directly and hit them hard by many sources, both Republican and Democrat. There's also been quite a few calls, no, don't do it, and here's why not to. Well, we're going to talk about a lot of that, and we're going to talk about the Take Our Borders Back convoy, and we're going to go to our regular everyday nuke war news after that. The regular everyday end of the world, boom, boom, boom. Holy smoke, guys. If you're not prepping, what are you doing? Geez. And something, we got the Normie zone. Nothing's ever going to happen. Well, stuff's happening already, for Pete's sake. All right, guys. And what I worry about most of all, I had somebody reply on my video I posted on Swivelhead News earlier today. I don't care. It don't matter to me. It's not really. If we get into war with Iran, and if they activate those sleeper cells here in the United States, you're going to care a lot, because almost everybody including perhaps you, aren't going to be around in a year. Because if the grid gets taken down, 9 out of 10 people are expected to be gone in the course of a year due to societal collapse. That and you may not believe that, but you need to watch my long series of videos I have put out on grid down, EMP, and these kind of events about sleeper cells, because I've been talking about this stuff for 5 years and how serious it is, and most people just can't quite get how easy it is to bring this country down completely. It don't take nukes. In fact, this is worse, and just the gravity of it just hasn't sunk in, because it's hard for most people to fathom in the course of your regular everyday life. And this is why I tell you guys, you've got to get ready. You got to be prepared. And this is why our border ought to be closed. It ought to be shut tight. And then, we let people in. We vet the people we bring in. Yeah, we need people coming in, but we need to vet them. We need to know who's coming in our border and what they're bringing with them, so that we don't lose 107,000 Americans like we did in 2022. And who knows how many we're going to lose in 2023, how many we actually lost in 2023. Those numbers haven't come out yet to my knowledge. And how many we're going to lose this year due to fentanyl and worse drugs that are coming across the border now, human trafficking, all that mess that could be shut down if somebody would just obey the laws that's already on the books. But no, they want you to pass another bill, a whole other bill, just to do what they're supposed to do. But no, that bill don't even do that. That bill allows and permits the continuation of what's been going on for the most part. And it supposedly has some little regulator or governor on it. It's, 1.825 million American illegal immigrants are permitted a year under that rule. That's almost what's been coming across already. Anyway, guys, buckle up. We're going to hit the sneeze. First, I'm going to see who's in the chat room, because it's the chat guys that are keeping this channel afloat right now. I do appreciate my coffee club morning guys, but almost everything is getting demonetized these days. I'm trying to find an angle around that. I'm Nate over at Canadian Prepper. He's only had one video demonetized over the last 9 months, and he talks about war, boom, 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 constantly. It's like, how can he talk about it and I can't? I'm trying to research this to figure out a way around it. Anyway, guys, so just hang on. I don't know what it is. Some people can just talk about anything, and that's okay. And some of us get spanked for just kind of suggesting things. Holy smoke. All right, guys, I just hit the refresh. I'm going to hit the chat room. And we'll, oh, I hate it when all these screens bounce. When I'm about to click it, it bounces underneath, and I got to scroll down. Jeez. Anyway, guys, hang on. Takes a moment. The reason I do that over here is I got too many screens over here to manage. All right, we got 103 in the room already. All you night owls, including people on the East Coast, West Coast, and down under, and all around the planet. We got them all in the house tonight. We're all in this boat together, guys. No matter where we're from, we're here together. All right, power down consequences. Yes, that's what we're talking about. Hey, thank you, Rodney, for sharing prepwithgreg.com, because that's what you need to do right now. Oh, yeah, volcanic winter may be upon us. Jeez, guys, I mean, this is biblical. What's coming at us is like straight out of the book of Revelations. So yeah, you need to wake up if you're not awake to this stuff. I won't say woke. I used to use that term back before somebody else appropriated it. I used to have my little Woke Wednesday videos, but no, I quit using that term because it became appropriated. Like the word gay used to just mean happy. Hey, have a gay old time, right? Don't mean that anymore. So we can, they change our language. So let's forget about that. Let's move on. Let's get to the news. There's too many things rocking in the world right now. So let's get to it. In case you don't know, Iran has raised their air defenses to maximum readiness amid chilling World War III fears after this drone attack. Now, why would they do that if they weren't expecting something? What makes y'all think? How are you, Captain? All righty. So, guys, this is serious. They've got it to maximum readiness because of that strike. And Biden said he's going to hit back, and he was kind of vague about it. He said all responsible in that little written statement, and he's made other verbal statements that kind of pine in on that. So, so the Iranians are taking this seriously. Of course, they're denying that they had anything to. Oh no, we had no links to the Jordan drone attacks, even though they supplied all the weapons. They still had no links. They supplied weapons, but they didn't have no links to it. This is the base right here that got hit. This is the Tower 22 base where the Americans are at over in Jordan, in the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. By the way, they were actually invited over there by the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, which is friendly to the United States so far. Anyway, even though it may be challenging to them because a whole lot of the people in Jordan are Palestinian descent, people that kind of got pushed out of Palestine as Israel expanded for whatever reasons. I worked with a lot of Jordanians and found out they were all Palestinian, actually, once upon a time. So there's quite a few of those individuals. So, Jordan's pro-Western stance might be challenged right now, but in any event, whatever the case is, this base got hit and hit hard. And what you need to bear in mind is this base had a lot of air defense systems. This wasn't no fly-by-night thing. They were hit so hard that what would come at them saturated whatever defense systems they had because it got through. This kind of thing is bound to happen eventually. This whole thing was bound to come to pass. And so, hey, Judy, good to see you in the house this late. No, you're not such a night owl usually. All righty. So, guys, this was bound to happen. Because they just kept firing at them. I asked a long time ago, why do we have bases in Syria And in Iraq, well, this wasn't in Syria or Iraq. In Syria, we were never invited into Syria. We went there against the will of the government. Our forces in Syria are really invaders, because Assad never wanted our forces there and still don't. But, so we got no business being in Syria. Why are we still in Iraq? We finished our mission there, supposedly, theoretically, but we're still there. Supposedly we're helping contain ISIS. Well, Russia's doing that too. So why do they need us to do it? Russia's actually invited into Syria, not us. And we had a little bit of a skiff with the Ruskies in Syria once upon a time. So, in fact, Senator Rand Paul challenged us having forces over there. But now, if you saw Nate today on Canadian Prepper, he did a short little video where he was playing Joe Skozen, and Joe Skozen wrote that book about bugging out in all the safe areas, safe zones in America. He's wrote maybe a couple of books on that, and lectures on it a lot, and he's a guest on a lot of YouTube channels. Maybe I need to see if I can get him. But anyway, he made a statement, and he said that the reason these guys are over there, the reason they're there is as bait. That their whole purpose of being there is to be hit, as an excuse to pull us into this, as if we want to be in this war. We're just looking for an excuse. So it may not be quite like a banner untrue, if you know what language I'm trying to say here, but it has the same effect, maybe worse. Oh, look, we're just over there minding our own business, and we got walloped. Now we lost Americans, and now we lost Americans, we're going to hit back. So yeah, we're going to hit back. Who are we going to hit? It's the question. Are we just going to hit the ones that hit us directly? Biden in his letter said, he put out, said all responsible. That could include Iran, but there's people that are calling for that and people that are cautioning not to. There are consequences. This is not a pathway that's going to be a picnic. It's going to be ugly any way you slice or dice it. We shouldn't have been putting people over there in harm's way in the first place, in my humble opinion. What business have we got doing that? With double the food bill, electric, yeah. I just paid $520-something for a hot water heater I could have bought for $200 a few years ago. Anyway, yeah, everything's going up. Light bills, everything's going up. But tell us the inflation's under control. Jeez. Yeah, well, we're about to see it really go skyrocket if we shut down the Hormuz Pass, the Strait of Hormuz, due to conflict with Iran. And who knows, our grid could go down. We have a lot of risk in the world we're heading to. And who knows when those shoes are going to drop? Who knows how much time we got available to us? This is what you guys better be getting ready now fast. The time to drag around and procrastinate is over. You may not even have time to get ready. It may be the music is about to stop and you got to sit down in the chairs, and what you got's all you got. And that could happen any minute. I don't know how long we got. I hope I got time to get my tail back out to Arizona. But holy smoke, it looks like it's going to take me a few weeks to pull off. Anyway, guys. Oh, yeah. Iran just suddenly decided to launch 3 satellites in one shot. They just, and it's kind of like this was like an emergency launch for them. Now, what prompted that? Shortens the timeline. Oh, yeah, they got 3 up at one time. What are on these satellites? Are they military satellites? Are they potentially EMP devices on these satellites? A lot of people speculate about a lot of different things. There could be EMP devices on them. I've told you guys some time back that there's allegations that Iran got weapons from Kazakhstan when the wall fell with the Soviet Union. When the Soviet Union broke up, I had heard 2, and I've been since told 4 from Kazakhstan. But there was also an open trade out of Russia for some time that, a lot of their weapons were unsecure. I mean, they just had broken fences and the guards were gone. They weren't getting paid. So a lot of stuff went on the black market. There was a lot of uranium that was intercepted. What didn't get intercepted? It was wide open. People were selling stuff like that just so they could buy a refrigerator for the house. I mean, the Russians were living in poverty. They were broke. And suddenly they had all this stuff that was of great value. Now, you got to understand economics. When something is in high supply, and at the time low value somewhere else, but it's in great demand and high value somewhere else, it's like water. If you got water real high somewhere and it's real low somewhere, if that water finds a pathway, it's going down. The economy is the same way. Something's got high value over here, and you got plenty of it over here. Well, it's going to go to where you can sell it and get the most out of it. Unless there's some impedance, resistance in the middle. What is that resistance? What is that impedance? So, well, usually it's your defense systems, it's your guards, it's your borders, it's your, oh yeah, what's that? It's your fences. Yeah, what's that? Well, when the wall fell in Russia, a lot of that stuff went away for a while. So what got traded? We don't know. You know, it's been suggested there were 80 backpack nuclear devices in the United States that come up missing. I've talked about that. Who knows what happened to that stuff? I don't know, guys. Clowns on all sides. Yeah, we're surrounded by clowns, and most of them are running the governments in the world. They're all gangsters. Look like old what was the clown from Batman? Joker. Yeah, gangster clowns. That's what they are. Gangster clowns on all sides, all countries, all the leadership of this world seems to fit in that category, no matter what country it is, ours, theirs, wherever. Hey, Michael Sherman, you're up late. Alrighty, folks. It's Iran backed militia attack. This is the update where they were claiming now it's 34 U.S. service members that are injured, and 8 are evacuated. This is the ones that are critically injured. And there were, last count I saw, 3 fatalities. Well, the news cycle hasn't updated yet, but these numbers, all these numbers may go up. We don't know yet. We don't know. We have the group that did it claims they're going to do it again. They're going to do more. So, yeah, guys, it's time to really think about prepping, think hard about it. You know, I should have put my seed sites on here because if we have a nuclear winter, you're going to need, well, you need seeds. You may not be able to get them soon. Check out my True Leaf Market. I don't have that dialed up. Check out True Leaf Market. Use my link to it. And I put it in my chat. Maybe some of the mods list my True Leaf Market, my Eden Brothers links. But, you know, if we get into a volcanic situation, which that could be brewing too, it can't be Lafergie, and a couple other things are out there. We've been hearing it can't be Lafergie, or whatever you call that big volcano near Naples, is potential super volcano. Could put us into a few years without a summer if we're not careful. So right now it's really time to think about long-term food storage. Now, if you're growing a garden, you need to start putting stuff back for long-term. But if you haven't got it put back, you need to find some other way to get it put back immediately. You can start with the dried beans and rice in your big box stores. But this stuff right here lasts 25 years. You can get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you get 2,000 calories a day, snacks. Deal will make you a winner, because that's not even $200 a month, guys. Not even $200 a month. This is emergency food. This is what this is. Emergency food. This is what you need when all else fails, because you can bury this stuff. It's easy. These rugged buckets. It's easy to bury. It's easy to hide, or you can put it in your living room and stack it up. I got pictures on some. I'm using it for furniture. I got my grandkids' pictures sitting on top of some of these. Anyway, my friends. Yeah, go there. Oh yeah, by the way, go to use prepwithgreg.com to go there. Prepwithgreg.com. Once you do that, you can go into the store here and find water filtration, air filtration, all other kind of prepping supplies and other kind of deals on different food options and packages. That's not all they got. Anyway, my friends, nation's most dangerous volcano showing signs of life. We're talking about Kilauea here. Volcano. It's apparently the most dangerous one in the United States. Now, I didn't think that was the first one I was bringing up. Did I close the other article? I must have. Yeah, I had a different one I was going to show you, and I've lost it. Where did it go? There's another volcano that's connected to Toba. It's called Mount Cinnabon, like the Cinnabon, you know, the nice little sweet cinnamon bun. Cinnabon. It's over in Indonesia. They say it's connected to the magma chamber of Toba. Maybe I got that open somewhere. Where's that at? Oh, there it is. It's way over there. All right, I'll come up with that later. I'll show you guys that one later. Anyway, yeah, because that's the one that's most scary right now. We'll talk about that toward the end. So let's get back to this story. All right, the Islamic resistance group that did this is called, and then that's her name, Islamic Resistance in Iraq. It's an umbrella group of several of the Iranian-backed militias in Iraq, and they take credit for this attack on Tower 27. U.S. service members there, and we lost 3 of them in their drone attack. So basically, they said they did it because of the attacks on Gaza that the Israelis are doing, and they figure that we are somehow backing that, so they're attacking American forces too. And they have further stated, I don't sit in this article, but they have stated they're going to keep doing this and they're going to do it again and again. So I expect they would be a prime target of the administration. And of course, I've shown y'all a couple times already that it's now been said that Iran has enough uranium to make 12 nuclear bombs in 5 months. Well, supposedly they make 5 or 6 in a month and 1 in a week. So in 1 week's time, they can make one of their own, even though they may have a few already. So I used shade cloth last year. Hey, I've used shade cloth in my greenhouse. All right, guys. So back before it got blew up. So that's not, to me, that's not the biggest threat from them. To me, the biggest threat from them are the sleeper cells they got here. We'll talk more about that in a minute. World War III fears, about this. Again, it's the same kind of talk here. Let me move on. I want to play a minute of this guy because there's a lot of people that are saying that we should hit the proxy groups only. Some are saying that we need to hit Iran. This guy's going further. Listen to this guy. He is a retired a military officer. You can see his cap back there. Hang on.
The proxies?
Let me get this up higher. See if you can hear him.
Is something we should do, but we should also look at targets in Iran.
He said the proxies are something we ought to do, but we should also look at the targets in Iran. This is Dana Pittard, retired U.S. Army general. Okay. Now, hang on. That ain't all he's calling for.
And send a strong message to not only Iran, but to Iran's backers, which would be China and Russia.
Whoa, China and Russia? What is he wanting to do with that? You see, guys, how this could escalate, the kind of calls that are being made for right now? Yes, how much can this escalate? You got to remember, if we hit Iran, Iran is one of the major suppliers of Russia for drones, for military equipment. Russia provides Iran nuclear technology. Iran provides Russia drones at scale, which they need for their for their special operation. Let me be careful how I phrase that. And China relies on Iran for petroleum to run their economy. So I will check back in the chat room here in a little bit. Let me get through these news articles. I don't have as many news articles strung up as I usually do, just because the gravity of the ones I got up are just off the charts. Anyway, inside the Hara in Jordan, where the drone attack occurred, this article saying is a very deliberate escalation. Well, yeah, it's the first time we've lost Americans, but they say deliberate, very deliberate escalation. This is a British news company here, mirror.co.uk. This is from the United Kingdom. So they're talking about, let's see if there's anything new we hadn't already discussed. Anyway, that's, again, another view of where the attack took place. Anyway, pretty barren area there. Now, that's the desert. Whoa. Makes my desert look like a tropical rainforest in comparison. Yikes. I got a place in the desert too, but it's at least I got some big, tall juniper bushes. Anyway, GOP hawks bay for blood after the event that occurred there. And of course, Lindsey Graham, he wouldn't ask for nothing now, would he? Hit Iran now, hit them hard. Hit them now, hit them hard. And Tucker Carlson come back and called them lunatics. He used the F word. So, see, there's a lot of division over this, a lot of division over what to do and how and who to hit and how to go about it. So what's Biden going to do? What's the plans? I don't know, but we've definitely got a whole bunch of KC-135 refueling tanker aircraft on the way. Something is going to go down, and it's likely it will be started by the time we wake up in the morning and the news cycle catches up. We're probably going to hear all kind of mayhem. What's it going to be? I don't know. How long is it going to take them to get their chess pieces in place to make the next move? I don't know, but they're making the moves right now. They're getting the pieces in position to do some kind of a major attack. Here they're saying Biden's failure to isolate the regime in Iran and defeat Hamas and support our strategic partners has emboldened the enemies of freedom, according to Rep. Carlos Jimenez of Florida. So I don't know, guys. Senator Tom Cotton similarly charged that saying he'd predicted the loss of American life as a result. Well, yeah, it's kind of, if you got troops out there in the field and they keep getting missile and drone attacks on them, sooner or later, this was bound to happen. And as Joel Scozen said, as I mentioned earlier, he predicted this. He said that's why they were there. They're bait. Why are we using our troops as bait? That's insidious. Yeah, we'll show the sun in a little bit too, Arnold. So we're in a bad situation, guys. It kind of makes me wonder if, like, to the powers that be, if this is like the Super Bowl. They all agree to play this game. And what's not agreed on is who's going to be the winner. But, it really makes you wonder what's really cooking, guys. This is just nuts. I mean, like, how's Iran know not, they know we're going to hit back when they launch these things, when they support these proxy organizations. They know what they're going to do, and they keep sending weapons over there. So they're still supplying the Houthis. They say, oh, well, we didn't do it. We weren't involved in it, but they're supplying them, training them, and funding them. But we're not in direct control. So, like pawns in a chess game. Exactly, we're all the pawns, and they care not about us. Oh, my gosh. I got some artwork I should put up for that. Yeah. Anyway, guys. Ooh. Yada, 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 yada. We are in bad spot, guys. Makes you wonder. Makes you wonder. Biden giving chilling nuclear warnings over attack in Iran. Now, this is coming from the ex-UN weapon inspector, David Albright. And what he's saying is that, look, if you attack Iran, they're going to accelerate their dash for the goal line to make their nuke. That's my own language. Oh, breaking news. Oh, come on. That ain't somebody had a second baby. Jeez, we're on the verge of World War III, and the breaking news that somebody had a second baby. You see what the mainstream news media puts out? Holy guac and smoke and motor. Where's that breaking news? Who cares? Well, most people. Jeez. Can you believe it? I mean, they're not even talking about Texas in the mainstream news media. And you don't find a lot of stuff on this. It is really a deficit of information. That's why I'm trying to bring you what I'm bringing you. That's why I came on early. I could have been earlier, but I was trying to reference stuff and bring up some other things. But I knew about that from the get-go this morning, what went down over there in Jordan. And I was surprised when I was looking on YouTube. Nobody was reporting. When I got around doing it, there was nobody else talking about it. I said, why is not anybody talking about this yet? So I put out my video. I put it out first on Swivelhead News. Guys, if you're not subscribed to Swivelhead News, go there, because I'm going to be doing most of this content over there real soon. I'm moving this kind of content to Swivelhead News. That's why I waited 5 hours before I posted it on Green Greg's. And I posted on Green Greg's because I knew a lot of people wouldn't see it if I didn't. And it is still breaking news. Even then, I was breaking, according to a lot of other groups. But I had it on Swivelhead 5 hours earlier today. Anyway, guys, so this is what they're talking about here, is that Mr. Albright was basically saying that we need to send a clear message, but we need to target the militants who were directly responsible. And he's urging not to strike Iran to avert a wider conflict. Well, it's hard to think that that's not coming. And the other thing is, there's a little bit of fallacy in this argument, because, in my humble opinion, I'm not calling for a strike, but what I'm saying here is, and I've been saying all along, is Iran is running for the goal line already. I think they're running for the goal line to make those nuclear weapons as many as they can, as fast as they can. Especially now, why else would they have suddenly got so emboldened? Thank you, Michelle, for sharing that. Why else would they have gotten so emboldened to start striking out themselves instead of using proxies to hit Syria, to hit and to they hit Syria or in Iraq, they hit Pakistan. Huge acts of boldness have been taking oil tankers. They suddenly have got directly involved in a lot of stuff themselves, and suddenly they're showing a fresh sheet of boldness, a whole new level of confidence. What gives them this confidence to do this? Maybe it's because they're so close to attaining their goal that they figure they'll be there by the time we get all the serious chess pieces moved in place, and also because they think their bunkers are probably deep enough to survive whatever we're going to throw at them. They have some very, very deep bunkers, and we honestly don't know where all their enrichment facilities are at right now. Don't stress about what we can't control. I'm not stressing, what a word. This whole thing is about telling people to get ready. Don't be scared, be prepared. But a lot of people don't get the gravity, because I just had, like I said earlier, you might have missed it, somebody left a comment on my Silverhead News and said, I don't care. Well, when the lights go out and you ain't got no food to eat and somebody's beating your door down because you look like a pork chop to them, you're going to care a lot, because you're going to be the pork chop. When everybody gets hungry and there's nothing else left to eat, you're the pork chop. Don't be the long pork. That's what I keep telling people. But a lot of people are going to be just that before they know it, especially if they've not been getting ready. Look at that face there. Woo. He looks like he could gum you to death. Yikes. Oh, my goodness. He'll gum you to death. Lordy, 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 guys. So, yeah, that's some of the drones that were employing. I got a question I'm putting in front of everybody. What was the first drone used in a major war at a major level at scale? What was the first drone used at scale in a major war? Let's see if anybody can guess that. I bet nobody gets it. Big kudos to whoever comes up with that one. Tucker Carlson, yeah, he's using some of that language I don't allow on this channel, so I'm glad that's kind of bleeped out there. Anyway, he's saying that about Lindsey Graham and John Cornyn, and get them gummy. That's a good one. Get them gummy. Gum them to death. Pitchforks raised. Well, those aren't drones, but yeah, those are some of the earlier weapons. Yeah. Well, they attacked Britain with these things I'm talking about. Oh, just gave you a major hint. Norway is in the house. Very good. Hey, Norway, good to see you. We got all kind of international representation here, but guys, we're all in this boat together, because the whole world is going up in flames, it seems. And like I said earlier, there's a whole flock of black swans about to take the flight. Balloons? Yeah, the Japanese use balloons, but somebody beat them to the. Okay, somebody's getting close. Edith Wallace, WW2, German Army. Okay, now that ain't quite it, but you're getting close. Buzz bomb. All right, Don Burge, you got it. The V1 buzz bomb. Don Burge, you got it. You got the gold star today. That was it. Yes, Jason, V1. The Germans used them, and they used them at scale. Lots of them. My dad heard those things flying around in World War II, even talked about them. And some of the videos I had earlier on my channel while he's still away, I interviewed him a few times. And I managed to coax him in to talk about, long before the first Gulf War. We're talking WW2 in the 1940s. The Germans built the V1, what we called the V1. They had another name for it. Vengeance 1. It's called the buzz. We called it buzz bomb. And my dad said it's more of a psychological weapon than anything else, because he said it'd fly around and the engine would be cutting out and sputtering, and nobody knew where they were going to fall at. They would just freak everybody out because you didn't know where it's coming down, and just be flying. Yeah, it was like he says a psychological weapon as much as anything else. Anyway, so yeah, there are folks saying let's hit them now, hit them hard. And Tucker Carlson is, he is hitting back and says, you nuts, we're going to get in World War III. He says it's going to be, well, we're already in World War III, but not the United States directly kinetically yet. But, you got House Speaker Mike Johnson say, hey, crystal clear message. Tons of people are calling for a direct attack on Iran. Yeah, maybe we need to use paper airplanes. I put a firecracker in a paper airplane once, a foot out a window at high school. And allegedly, I didn't see it. I think I heard it. I threw it out and walked away, and I heard it went straight up and dropped the firecracker right down. And I heard it hit the pants cuff of a driver's ed coach. Hey, I was a crazy guy when I was in high school. I was always trying something crazy like that, Anywho, lordy, lordy. Let's see. Oops. And this article saying Joe Biden's got blood on his hands for appeasing Iran for all these years. He sent tens of billions of dollars. This actually said over $100 billion to Iran. Maybe that enabled them to develop a lot of this stuff. I don't know, guys. That's what this article is claiming here. But we know that we definitely sent some money over there. And we released a lot of money. So, and he was trying to renegotiate that Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the JPOC, or how do they call it, JPOC, for some time, even after the Iranians obviously didn't want no part of it. The Biden administration was still trying to chase after it, but the Iranians didn't care by then because they knew they were close enough to their goal that nobody was going to stop them at that point. So they didn't care. They kind of played around, toyed with the negotiators. They had no real interest in it. And I've said that from a long time ago. Iron Skies. What is that movie? What was the name of that movie that had where the Germans had a base on the moon. Still had it up there and we didn't know, and they attacked us on the moon. Anyway, still doing crazy stuff. Oh, I'm still doing crazy stuff. Oh, okay. Well, maybe I am, but at least not as crazy as, well, I don't know. Well, I went from firecrackers and paper airplanes to rockets. That's kind of a natural extension, is it not? Yeah, there used to be I saw some people claim, they made it illegal to make bombs. This is, well, what kid worth his salt wasn't making bombs as a kid just for fun, just as sport, to learn how to make things work. Kids like to blow things up and not trying to do any harm. They just like to blow things up. And the learning of it is educational experience. Anyway, reports that U.S. military preparing to retaliate against drone attack in Jordan. Well, no duh. Yeah, we know that. But there's this article and a lot of other ones are really short. Oil, look here. Oil prices are going up. They're shooting back up as a response to this finally. And we had a real good dip. We had a little period there. They were low. What is that? Oh, they went from here to here, just an instant jump. Okay, guys, you better I went and filled my gas tank up a little bit earlier today, and it was already about a dime a gallon higher, maybe a little bit more than that. Now, I think it's about 20 cents a gallon higher where I bought it than where it was just a few days ago, last time I was there. So it might be time to fill your tanks up. That's just another little piece of advice to think about right there. Look at that. Went from there, did a quantum jump. Don't even have a line drawn. Went from here to here. Whoop, whoop, instant. Where else do you see that on the graph? Nowhere. That's a quantum leap. Yikes. Anywho, if they shut down the Strait of Hormuz, it will be far worse. That's one of the potential outcomes of this stuff. But look here. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps seized another tanker carrying 2 million liters of fuel. I mentioned this, I think, in that other video, but that article didn't even say what tanker it was. Let's see here. I don't think this one does either. Well, it didn't say who it belonged to. And, there's just a lack of information. Now, this don't even tell you. Seized 2 tankers in December. So I did it earlier in the month, but what is this one? Yeah, that's the problem I have with the other article. This is the same data. carrying the flag of Oceania. Okay, so this is carrying the Oceania flag. Oh, well, the Houthis are still active, guys. And, in spite of all this, we're not paying as much attention to the Houthis because suddenly we're looking at whoever hit our base. But they've launched a drone attack against a British naval ship, the HMS Diamond, supposedly shot at an American ship, targeted a U.S. warship. So they're still busy, even though we've been knocking the heck out of them. But they also accidentally hit a Russian tanker. Yeah, theoretically, this is a picture of a Russian tanker. This is Bloomberg. Bloombergers won't let me scroll through here without subscribing to them. But anyway, so oil prices rose $2 after the ship was hit. I think it jumped more than that today. Yikes. So, guys, they lack precision in the identification of their targets. And so that's going to shut down shipments through the Red Sea even more. Nobody's going to want to go through there, even if they think they might be attacked accidentally. Because Houthi says, "Oh, we're only targeting these ships," but then they're hitting others too, even ones that are supposedly funding them. So that's why China's getting a little nervous over this. And China funds Iran, who funds these guys. So how's all that going to play out? All right, guys. There's something you're not seeing much of in the news. Oh, yeah, Argentina. I have had a family down there for a century. Oh, you got family in Argentina. Okay. Yeah. So, take back our border convoy. Now, I've seen articles talking about this armed convoy going down to stop the immigration, to shut it down. Everything I've seen that's come out of these guys don't talk about that. They're calling for a peaceful protest. Now they're talking about where they're going, guys. It's starting today. This starts today. This is a huge convoy. I see some numbers claiming 7,000 trucks. Some say 700,000. I don't think that's right. I think 7,000 might be closer to it. If they manage to put 7,000 trucks on the road, that's going to amaze me. But people get numbers confused. And they put out all kind of stuff on the internet. 700,000? I don't think so. But 7,000 is a big convoy. If they can get that many in, even if they get half that, that's a huge convoy. 700 trucks would be a decent convoy, to be honest. But anyway, guys, this is people are getting fed up with what's going on, and they're showing solidarity with Texas and the solidarity with the idea that we got to shut down the immigration coming into this country. Now, you can come in here and see their calendar. You can see their route maps if you go to, and it's on takeourbordersback.com. Just go to takeourbordersback.com, and they got various route maps showing where they're starting out, where they're going. This is along I-10 here, and they're going to Eagle Pass there. And there's calendars of when they're going to get there, every step in their arrival. Dipping Springs to get there the 2nd of February. They're going to some Cornerstone Children's Ranch. Now, that's a peaceful convoy. They're not intending anything crazy. That don't mean somebody won't show up and try to do something crazy. And who knows? Those might even be people wearing black golf shirts and tan breeches, like we've seen that a lot, right? Same uniform that people in one of the 3-letter agencies like to wear. So there's been a certain so-called supremacist group that everybody dresses up just like that. Nobody thinks they're real. No patriot thinks that's a legitimate group. Anyway, they got various different destinations they're going to. This is coming out of San Diego, going to looks like Yuma, Arizona. So they're coming in from different places. There's like 3 different groups, I think. Convoy 1, Convoy 2, Convoy 3. There you go. Going to Yuma, Arizona, Convoy 3. Convoy 2 is going to Eagle Pass. I think Convoy 1's going to Eagle Pass at some point. So some of them will meet up there. But they're calling for prayer, peaceful prayer and assembly. They're showing solidarity. That don't mean that being peaceful won't gather the ire of the 3-letter agencies of the state that's kind of buried deep down, if you know what I mean. if you get involved in this stuff, guys, don't do anything illegal. Don't try to be law enforcement, because that's just what they want. They would like to find an excuse to slap martial law on us. So, or to pull arrest on people, to do what was done in Canada with that truckers convoy, which was peaceful, taking people's bank accounts, grabbing vehicles. We do have protection, supposedly, theoretically, under our Bill of Rights, that they can't seize property without due process. But who knows? Where's the bandit? Westbound and down, put it up in trucking. Convoy. Yeah, Rubber Ducky. That was a good movie. Convoy. Anybody remembers that? The song was pretty good too. Chris Christopherson. Anyway, of course, there's this whole deal with Biden talking. Won't shut the border, and the Congress coughs up Ukraine and Israel. He's not going to shut the border. That's an illusion. That's just fluff talk. That bill they're trying to put out, that from the Senate, allows 5,000 a day. Supposedly they could shut it down if they want to at 4,000 a day, but it allows up to 5,000 a day. You think they're going to shut it down before it hits that number? Or do you think they might not try to fake those numbers? Good movie. That's right, Colorado Jan. They had some good movies back in the day. I don't know, stuff that come out with these days. I hadn't been in the theater in years. One, I don't like to go to theater unless I got somebody to go with. Two, I haven't had time. And three, most of the movies out today are trash anyway. There's been a couple I like to went and seen, but just didn't have time or somebody to go with at that moment. All righty, folks. Now, Nate brought this up. I'm going to give the Canadian Prepper credit, give him credit where credit's due. He brought this article up, and I thought it worthwhile. Germans are expected to make their own bomb shelters. But the real bombshell in this article is a statement down here below that is mind-boggling. It is very frightening. Where's it at? Let's see. They're telling people to build their own shelters because the government doesn't have time to respond. They said building new shelters is no longer feasible due to time constraints. Building new shelters is no longer feasible due to time constraints. How long does it take to build a shelter? At most a few months, maybe a few weeks if you're really good. Hey, Billy Bob Norwood. Guys, what about this, guys? What do y'all think about this? Well, no, they're talking about 5,000 a day for 365 days. That's 1,825,000 illegal. Let's face it, illegal immigrants. They already got laws in the book where they can shut this stuff down if they won't do it on the border. Now, let's get to this though. Building new shelters is no longer feasible due to time constraints. This is a message that it's about to pop. It don't take but a few months to build a shelter. What do you mean by that? That is a bombshell message if I ever saw one. Coming from the Federal Office of Civil Protection and Disaster Assistance in Germany. Ralph Tiesler, he's the one that said this. Building new shelters is no longer feasible due to time constraints. Yikes, that is one of the scariest statements I've seen from anybody anywhere. Anyway. Bingo, Larry, it may be. What is this exercise that we got coming up? The big exercise in Europe, biggest since Cold War. Maybe Nate's right. It may not be an exercise, might be a World War III surprise. Let's hope it's not that. Now, I really got to wonder about some of these guys. Here's a channel. It's probably a good channel. But he was talking about this trucker convoy, and he was saying that this guy didn't do his research. He said that, it was federal land, and the Texas guys took the Border Patrol agents off federal land, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, he only talked, this is a 12-minute video. He only talked maybe 3 or 4 minutes tops in this video. Most of this video, he's playing content from other channels. which if I did that, I would get struck hard. I mean, I played 15 seconds of content from a movie that's no longer copyright in the United States. It's still copyrighted in Britain, though. But you're supposed to have fair use. If you play a short part and you use it to make a point and you're editorializing, talking over it, it's supposed to be fair use. And I got struck for that. And this guy will play 3/4 of his video just being video from other news outlets. And I see that on a lot of channels. I haven't been able to get away with anything like that. How does he get away with that? But I did, I just felt like he didn't do his research, because he was, what he said about the Eagle Pass. Eagle Pass is a state park in Texas. It does not belong to the federal government. And he also made some misstatements about the convoy too. So I don't know, guys. He might be a really good guy. I'm not one to just, maybe people should subscribe to this channel. I'm not trying to disparage him, but he got almost 500,000 views for this video. Just saying junk like that. 500,000 views. Wow. Maybe that's why he got 500,000 views, because he's telling the story that the platform likes. He's putting their spin on it. I don't know. Is that it? Is that what he does? I don't know. I've never watched him before. I just saw this one, and I was shocked at what he said and how many views he had. And that was just 8 hours ago. And his channel, maybe twice as big as mine. It takes me years. I got one video that's got that level of views, but it's taken 5 years to get there. Yikes. I don't know. I'm lucky to get 2,000 or 3,000 views. Exactly, Rodney. What the heck is this stuff? I mean, geez, guys. Y'all need to promote my videos. Please share them. Hey, maybe he's worth subscribing to. Maybe you should watch everything he puts out. It'd be easy to do. You don't put out that many videos, and it's a short video. I mean, that's I don't know. I'm missing something. I got to figure out what the formula is. He puts out about a couple of videos a week. Not even that. I think he's like 12 videos recently when I checked his channel in the last month. Yeah, he's got twice as many subscribers and gets crazy views. Yeah, he's got way above me on views. It's like, wow. It should only be maybe twice as much, but when you consider the content, that's what people are watching. And that's what they're taking as the truth. Come here to get the inside skinny, guys. You guys are fortunate, because y'all getting it from a rocket scientist. Whatever that means, that might not be worth 2 cents. I don't know. Who am I? Just some poor dumb rocket scientist. Anyway, it must not be worth anything. The platform sure don't like it. Anyway, so House Republicans released impeachment articles against Mayorkas. Well, good. Well, there's Eagle Pass right there. A bunch of folks gathered down there. So they got 2 bridges there, a car bridge and a railroad bridge. And I guess it's an easy place to get across the Rio Grande. And there's a state park there on the Texas side. But Chairman of the Homeland Security, Mark Green. I've had one of my papers go before Mark Green, by the way. Mark Green has reviewed my work, my balloon paper. He reviewed it. Anyway, he said about Mayorkas, he has willfully and systematically refused to comply with immigration laws enacted by Congress. He has breached the public trust by knowingly and making false statements to Congress. Yeah, in front of that Jim Jordan's committee, if y'all remember, and the American people, and obstructing congressional oversight of his department. Wow. Well, now, does that fit this guy's boss? If they're going to impeach this guy, what does that mean for President Potato Head? Oh, in case y'all don't know, some guy from South Carolina has got some photographs from the bottom of the Pacific that they actually believe is Amelia Earhart's airplane. Wow, this must be the end of time, where all the mysteries are suddenly being solved. Holy guac and smoke-a-moly. Jesus. Hey, Billy Norwood, thank you for the super chat. Salute you. Maybe the only thing I earned tonight for this video. All right. Thank you, Billy. Appreciate it, man. So, and the cool sunglasses. That's really cool. And cool blue to the beat. Yeah, cool blue, cool sunglasses. And, there's other tensions in the world today, in case, it's easy to forget right now the whole world's going up in flames of what's happening here. But China surrounding Taiwan would be enough to drag the U.S. into a military conflict, according to 52 U.S. experts. So there's a broad consensus that all they got to do is put a blockade on Taiwan, and we're in. Yeah, how are we going to be in there if we're running out of ammo? We're already getting low on ammo, and we're talking about getting involved with Iran. Jeez. And North Korea continues we're going to talk about the option, what may happen over in Iran after we go through these articles. We're going to talk about it a little bit. North Korea continues testing new nuclear-capable cruise missile, conducted 2 tests in a week. So North Korea is still doing what they're doing. That hasn't changed. They haven't slowed down because we're busy on our border and because of other things that we're all tied up in now, with maybe Iran or at least Iranian proxy groups. So, yeah. So as Kim Jong-un wants country ready for a deadly war is what they're saying. Well, he's getting ready for something. And talk about ships around Taiwan. 33 Chinese warships head toward Taiwan as U.S.-China talks wrap, excuse me, not warp. I think warp is probably a better word. That was a good Freudian slip there. Now, here's some odd news. This is oddball news. Occasionally, I'll throw you guys some articles about robotics and stuff, AI. I'm a rocket scientist. What do you expect? China sparks nuclear attack fears as CCP plans to use AI to control their weapons. China is planning to use artificial intelligence to control their weapons. Now, how can that go wrong? How could that possibly go wrong? Well, we just had a little report from an AI safety organization here in the United States. Why is this article not loading? Maybe I've got my memory maxed out or something. Bang. Yeah, I'm pretty high on memory right now. My CPU's maxed out. Memory's maxed out. I need to close something. Let's see what I want to close. I'll close that one. There's no new news on that one. Let's look at that one. That's not new news. Let's close that one. I like to save some of these. Is that going to help me get this one open? There it is. Bang. AI went rogue and couldn't be brought back in a study they did. So basically, set some AI up where it could misbehave a little bit. And they thought they had the right kind of safety protocols to bring it back under control. And they found out they couldn't do it. That the AI went around them and evaded their attempts, all their little safety measures they built into it to keep it from going rogue. Once they set it up to be able to play rogue a little bit, it wouldn't work. And this is from a safety organization. So here you are, guys, Skynet. Study was carried out by a team of scientists at the AI safety and research company Anthropic, who programmed various large language models to behave maliciously. They thought they had the right controls to bring it back in. Whoops. What did I do? I just messed up. I was about to read a paragraph and I knocked it off. Our key result is that AI systems were to become deceptive, then it could be very difficult to remove that deception with current techniques. That's important if we think it's plausible that they will be deceptive, AI systems in the future, since it helps us understand how difficult they will be to deal with. Well, what they found was they couldn't bring them back in line. Don't that just give you a warm, fuzzy feeling about somebody who wants to put AI controlling nuclear weapons? Wow. Somebody needs to tell the emperor he's naked. But if people tell this guy what he don't want to hear, tends to disappear. That's what happens in a controlled system. That's why you don't want a one-party government of any kind from any one party or There's no checks and balances, but communism can only survive as a one-party system. So all communist countries become one party. They realize that in a free market of ideas, they don't survive. The only way they survive is to control the conversation. Anything that doesn't agree with them is disinformation or misinformation. Where have we heard that before? Have you seen my video on freedom of speech? If not, go watch it. You need to know that stuff, that content, to use it as talking points and share that with the youngsters. That's why I put this stuff out there. It's educational. All righty. And what's Biden up to? Well, he's shutting down this new LNG port they're trying to put down in Louisiana, liquid natural gas. Oh, yeah, he's kowtowed to his new Green Deal buddies and shut down. Oh, he got him smile there. He's so happy he's destroying the country. But what's he doing? He's shutting down a major economic facet of one of the red states. So he don't care. That's why he's smiling as he wears his blue pullover, shutting down a red state. Yeah, that kind of fits, don't it? Holy guac smoke-a-moles. He's standing behind a whiskey barrel. That's energy. Maybe he sniffed too much fumes from that whiskey barrel. Hey, guys, I don't know. But, is he trying to start a civil war? That's the question I want to ask. What's all this going on about? What's going on with Texas? The way they're posturing themselves with Texas, the way they're throwing the borders wide open, the way that he's shutting down. LNG is considered a clean, green energy form by most people. And yet they want to shut that down. Don't put everybody on electricity on the grid. Yeah, they want to take away your gas appliances. Yeah, and see and Gavin Newsom's even worse, what he's doing in California, excuse me. So where could this lead? I mean, they're, this is, they're being hard on the red states. So are they trying to provoke a civil war? I don't know. I hope not. But geez. All right, here's that other article. Highly explosive Indonesian volcano with connection to supervolcano. This is close to Toba. And if you don't know what Toba is the volcano that was believed to have went off 70,000 years ago and caused a bottleneck in the human population. I mean, almost wiped out humanity. When Toba went off 72,000 years ago, it caused a volcanic winter that lasted for maybe 7 to 10 years, 6 to 10 years, something like that. And there was a cooling period of 1,000 years after Toba went off. Now, this thing is starting to started acting up again in 2010. It was the first time in 400 years it was been somewhat active, but its last major explosion was 1,200 years ago, about 740 to 880 CE. AD. I don't use AD anymore. Common error. Should be AD. I guess they're trying to take the Christ out of it. Yeah, and so this is Cinnabon. Sounds like Cinnabon. Makes you think of a nice, sweet cinnamon roll, right? Hey, Angie, how you doing, neighbor? What are you doing up to this hour? Anyway, so guys, we could have a volcanic winter. It could happen anytime. You don't know. I mean, it's not probable in any one given year, typically. But when you got volcanoes like this, when you got volcanoes like Campi Lafergi over around Naples, Italy, which they think is about to go off, the prospects for a volcanic winter are existent. And that means you may not be able to grow crops for a few years. So you need extra seeds just to be able to cover in case you lose that crop that winter to be able to plant later down the road. And you also need, well, you need that anyway, because you might get wiped out by a hailstorm or grasshoppers or who knows what. You never just have enough seeds to plant 1 year crop. Nobody in the old days would do that. They knew better. We got to think, we haven't been accustomed to thinking that way because we can go to the store and get anything we want. Well, the stores aren't going to be here anymore. You got to be able to garden like there's never going to be a store ever again. So you need to think about that and think that way and think outside of getting chemicals and pesticides and herbicides and going to the store to buy all the stuff you want, fertilizers. Yeah, worms, worm castings, worm tea. These are things you need to think about. How to compost, how to make your own fertilizers, how to get by without the pesticides. It's doable. That's what our ancestors did. They didn't even use worms like we do. I mean, they had them in the environment that were natural then because they had destroyed the soil. They hadn't destroyed the native populations in the ground. They didn't destroy the bacteria in the ground. Good soil is living soil. It should be the first word in any good book on organic gardening. Any book that don't have that in the first paragraph, you ought to throw it away. It all starts with the soil. Anyway, any good book on organic gardening should start out good soil's living soil. If I write a book, that's what it's going to say. I may do it one day. So I've said that in my videos. So guys, you need to know that, but we need to know how to garden. You also need to be to grow enough when you garden to put back a good bit for the future, because 6 to 8 years will not be able to grow anything is catastrophic. If you can't grow anything for 6 to 8 years, that's why you need long-term food storage and lots of it. That's why I suggest things like prepwithgreg.com. It may not be steak and caviar that you get from prepwithgreg.com. It's emergency food. If at those prices, it will get you by. You can survive on that. 2,000 calories a day, you can survive as long as you got it. But the good thing about that is you can hide it to ensure that you got it. When they come looking in your pantries, if you got everything in your pantries, they're liable to get cleaned out. So anything about that too, guys, in your preps. Where am I going to put it? But the volcanoes are one reason, but nuclear winter can do the same thing. Nuclear winter, volcanic winter, or a winter from the impact of a comet or an asteroid if it's big enough. I'm not talking the kind that wiped out the dinosaurs. I'm talking something smaller but big enough to kick a lot of dust up in the atmosphere. So there's a lot of things that could challenge our ability to grow food for a few years. You need to be ready for that too. Part of prepping. All right, we've been talking about volcanoes. I need to start pulling up volcanoes. I need to start figuring out what website I'd want to use to pull that up because they're getting active. Things are happening. Hey, show maiden, how you doing there from England? So we got 238 in the room. That's pretty good for this crazy hour in the morning. Look here in Brazil, 6.5. And we got some. This is the volcanic explosive area. There's Indonesia, 4.2. Get off of Papua New Guinea, 4.8. 5.0, Papua New Guinea. Papa. Philippines has a lot of volcanoes. They're 5.1 at Taiwan. And Alaska's, this area in Alaska has been popping a lot lately. 2.7, Salcha, and there's one on the outside. So if I can click the outside circle. There we go. 4.5, same place. China still had them right here. That one's a 4.9. Now that's in Kyrgyzstan. Okay, it's not China, that's Kyrgyzstan. Oh, it's just up from there. I see. So let's go on to space weather. That's what Arnold was talking about right there. So sunspot 3559, which is thankfully turning away from us, has kicked out a flare that is a M6.8 class solar flare. It's a pretty strong one. Not an X class, but still pretty strong. Fortunately, it's not aimed directly at us. That's the good news. Other good news is there's no asteroid that we know of that's coming at us in the next few weeks. That's more good news. So all news is not bad news, but it's worth keeping an eye on these things because this gets updated as we find new things. There's a lot of new ones. Anything with a 24 in it, something we discovered this year. There's a 24. There's a 24. There's a 24. We discovered all them. There's a 24. There's a 24. There's a 24. We're finding these all the time. We got a 24 down here. That's that 24 right here. These are all asteroids we discovered this month. Fortunately, most of them are small, but yeah, you wouldn't want to meet this one. Fortunately, it's missing us by a wide berth, over 14 times the distance between the Earth and the Moon. But 256 meters, that's my area code. How about that one? 285 meters. That one's coming a little closer, but still 7.5 times more distance than it is from the Earth to the Moon. Yikes, guys. You would not want to have that one drop upon the planet. You would have an asteroid winter if that happened. It would not, that's not the size of something that would wipe out the dinosaurs, but that's a big rock. Speaking of rock, weather rocks. We got a lot of 30s in the United States, a lot of 20s. Yikes. I don't think it's supposed to go below freezing here tonight. I hope not. I got worms outside. It's 37. We ran worms today. Actually, I got a girl out there boxing them up right now. We ran worms today. A few. I hope I don't get no big orders. I'm not prepared to deal with a lot of orders right now. But anyway, guys, there we are. Here in the deep south, it's kind of chilly. 30s, 40s. Got snow in the Smokies. All right, snow in the northeast. Looks like it's just south of you there, New Days. She's at Houghton at 26, below freezing as usual up there. Altoona in Pennsylvania's 32. 39 in D.C. You know, Salisbury State, go to Salisbury, Virginia. I've been through there. On my way down to Chicoteague Island, where they do NASA has a little launch complex, launches sounding rockets at Wallops over the Atlantic Ocean, and launch balloons there too. Been there. Raleigh's 43. Fayetteville's 44. Is Old Fort Bragg in the house? Macon Bacon is 44. Valdosta, 44. I've been near there a lot of times. Gainesville's 44. Is Nightman's wife in the house? '41 in Mobile. That's Lucille in Mobile. You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille. Planet Houston is 43. Yeah, I know. Don't quit my day job for singing, right? I think my day job just quit me. Tulsa. We getting back from Tulsa in the house. Sometimes we get 3 or 4 people from Tulsa in here. Oklahoma City, 41. Amarillo, 34. 32 in Albuquerque. 25 in Gallup. Drove through there a few times. Holbrook is cooler than Show Low. That's interesting. We got Jesse Mills in the house. He's close to Show Low. Keith in Arizona, he comes in there sometimes. He's over there in that neighborhood. Snowflake is 28. It's cooler there now than it is here. Phoenix, though, is a balmy 52. If Cowgirl's in the house, Cowgirl in Arizona, it's in the 50s down in here. Los Angeles is 57. Lost Wages is 57. 52 in San Fran. West Wokistan. San Fran, West Wokistan. Up the West Wokistan coast, it's in the 50s. Up all the way up to Victoria. All right, let's go inland. Missoula, 39. 30s in the Dakotas. And for our good buddy Brian Perendi, Minnesota is in the 20s all over. 20s all over. All right, we skipped ahead. All right, Arnold. Calgary's 28. You got 20s and 30s all through Alberta, Slave Lake, 28. Eye level 28. Zama City 23. Rainbow Lake 37. Big difference right there. Fort Nelson up in British Columbia 21. No, Fort Nelson is 35. That's Nielsen Forks is 21. Yikes. Got a lot of snow right through here. Haynes Junction's 30. White House 35. White Horse, excuse me. Well, we get a lot of people from around Anchorage in here. Is Mag Rising in the house? From Wasilla. Wasilla's 8 degrees. That's where Mag Rising is at. My peeps, I think the U.S. is going to be the first to use nukes. Could be, I don't know. Hope not. Homer is 10. Seward is 10. Let's go to Mo home. Delta Junction, minus 17. Healy, minus 26. Fairbanks, minus 19. Tananall, minus 26. Galena, minus 40. Minus 49 right here, minus 42 over there. Up here in the Brooks Range, you got minus 42 at Kobuk. Minus 46 at Ambler. The Anatuka Pass, how you say it, minus 38. Dead Horse, minus 26. Barrow, minus 13. Wainwright, minus 20. Minus 33 there. What is over in Nome? Nome is minus 17. That's where they have the Iditarod. They do the dog sled all the way from Anchorage to Nome. You imagine dog sledding through that wilderness? Whew. Siberia, minus 35, minus 38, minus 44. Sometimes we get some colder weather in Siberia. So I like looking at Siberia this time of the year. Yeah, I think Alaska's colder than Siberia right now. All right, we'll look at Europe, and then we're going to fly down under. Norway's in the house. Oslo's 32. I don't know how you pronounce that. Stavanger, I don't know, 43, 43, 44. Hey, that's about like it is here. Up in Norway, got some snow. United Kingdom, Birmingham is 50. London's 50. Hull 48. Dublin 41. Birmingham, England is 50. Dublin's 41. So Birmingham, Alabama is, by comparison. 50, Birmingham, England. Birmingham, Alabama is cooler. 41. Hey, I'm cooler than a lot of Norway. 37. And Hunts Patch, what is it my way? What's Ardmore? Ardmore's 37. Okay, I'm probably about 37 outside. Yeah, when it gets cooler here, you feel it because of humidity. Sometimes it feels colder here than Snowflake when it's actually colder than Snowflake. All right, we're heading down under. Spell your under is way down under. And lots of rain been moving around across the Australian outback, the deserts there. This is now in a forested area, I do believe. Believe it or not, Australia has a lot of forest. Sydney, 77. Canberra, the capital city, is 75. Melbourne, 68. Hobart is 62. Perth, it's summertime down there, guys. The 60s in the summer. Lots of those places. But Alice Springs is a balmy 98. Here we go. Coober, Pity, 102. Perth is 77. Well, you know, the ocean moderates all this. Even up here near the equator, Weepaw, 84. I always like to pull up. Darwin's 80. Lots of rain and Indonesia. Rain in the Philippines. It's always in about 80 degrees in the Philippines. Whenever you look at it, always about the same there. I guess that's a good thing about it there. You get used to it. There's not a lot of variation. I guess that's easy to get used to. All righty, guys. There's the world. What did Jason say? Hit that thumbs up. Yeah, please, guys. Splitting hairs in a bad way. Uh-oh. We got 222 in the room. That's a palindrome. Let's stop the sharing. Let's talk about options, what might go down with respect to what the United States is about to do. Well, it's been suggested the United States has three options that they may exercise. One is strike Iran directly. Two is do what Israel's been doing. Hey, Jason, how you doing? Green Country Agroforestry. Nothing at all wrong with communism. Anyone that wants to live in a commune can go do it. There you go. And find out if it's for them or not. If it isn't for most of us, haven't tried it yet, don't preach it. Well, most of your communist societies though aren't communes. That's the problem. How many communist societies are communes? That's a wholly different matter. That's a wholly different matter. Anyway, so split hairs need trim. Uh-oh. Plenty of water in Idaho. Okay. Communism wiped out almost 100 million people last century. Yeah. Maybe more. Some of the estimates in China were up to 80 million. It varies a lot what the number was. We don't really know. The records aren't that good for what happened. Stalin took out a lot of Russians, quite a bit. Jason says, right. To the whole thing, I guess he's responding to me, suggesting that communist countries aren't communes. Anyway, so yeah, communes, tribal society is a different matter. But it's governed real close. It's local. It's all right there with all the people are looking at each other eyeball to eyeball on a daily basis. That's a little different matter. Stalin Long took out over, okay, I can't see because that heart. He took out a lot. He took out 30 million. Yeah. Makes all you hear about is Hitler. Hitler was horrible. But compared to Stalin, Mao Zedong, yeah, they did a lot more damage. Green communism, entirely different from white or red communism. Really? I think in the end, they'll all smell the same. Communal living. Well, that's a wholly different matter. But it's not for everybody. But if you want to live in a commune, more power to you. What I don't want is somebody telling me how to live. Because I like my freedom. Watch the snowpack up there at New. All right. Even in the situation where you have the close social association, it usually doesn't work. Because it goes against human nature. People are naturally territorial and want some property. And they don't take care of things that's in the commons as much as they take care of things that they own. So, yeah, you look any country where they got the commons, it's usually trashed. Mustache Man took third place. Yeah, third place. He was horrible. I won't make no beans about it. There's a lot of people think he was great and wonderful. I don't abide by that assessment. But then, I'd take the assessment that they're, that Jason and I've suggested, they're gangsters all. Look at my freedom speech video where it talks about how the one personality type that tends to rise the most and rises the highest is of course, what floats, right? It's the sociopath, the psychopath. Does that sound familiar with what's running our world today? I don't know, guys. I'm just wondering. I'm asking a question. I don't know. Like I said, who am I? I'm just some poor dumb rocket scientist. Hey, Karen. My grandmother escaped Stalin in a horse and wagon. Wow. And walking. Well, good for her. You probably wouldn't be here if she hadn't got away. Yeah. Terry Petty, yeah, given rights. All righty. Property rights are so integral to human natural rights that any philosophy that attempts to deny them cannot function in the real world. Amen to that. Amen to that. You got to take any system that denies human nature is going to be a failure. It can't work. Not worth a hoot. Unfortunately, Karen, it does repeat itself all too often, or as Samuel Clemens said, Mark Twain, that history may not repeat itself, but it rhymes. It does seem to repeat all too much. Jordan Maxwell, he's a trip into the occultist. All right, so guys, like I said, there's like three things that might go down. One, attack Iran. Two, they would attack. I didn't finish this. The second point is they would attack Iranian officials, Iranian people when they're outside of Iran. So they're not attacking Iran directly, but they're still attacking Iran, like how we took out Soleimani. The Israelis have been taking out a lot of Iranian leadership when they've been visiting Syria and places like that. The third option is that American forces might go for the proxies, and only go for the proxies. But if you took Biden's statement literal, I think I still got that up. I showed it this morning. And some of the things he's saying suggest he might go further. Where is that at? No, is that it? No, it's not it. Maybe I don't have it loaded still. Thought I had that page up. So I can find it. There it is. Let's go to a screen share. Ding, 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 ding. Flash. Gordon saved everyone. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Let's see. Hit the share button again. I have to juggle all these screens around. There it is. Statement from Joe Biden. This is what they put on the whitehouse.gov website. He said that the attacks were carried out by radical Iran-backed multi-groups. And he said, we will hold all those responsible to account at a time and a manner of our choosing. He didn't say some. He didn't say, well, of course, he knows what this guy says. He's good to know what time of the day it is. But he said all those. Now, above, he said the Iranian back. So is Iran part of all? You tell me. I don't know. Iraq dumped the weapons in a lake. They may have. I think if they had them, they got rid of them in a hurry. Didn't do me good, though. Wokeism and BLM are means to an end, like brown shirts were to the Weimar Germany, vomit chaos and bring in new order. Yeah, but they usually get rid of the ones that brought it in for them. That's the weird thing about all this. Usually the people that help put those isms in power are some of the first people they get rid of. Why? Because they're malcontents. They're useful to foment a revolution, but when now you want to run your society, they're still malcontents. You can't afford to have them around. They probably know that ahead of time. So they plan to get rid of these people from the get-go. Those people will sure do the legwork to get that stuff put in power because they got all these idealistic ideas about what piece of the pie they're going to have when it's all over, how easy it's going to be for them. They don't realize they're about to get swept under the rug or worse. Tell me where that didn't happen. There are huge brown shirt vibes. Oh, yeah. There's all kinds of brown shirt vibes in this country. Yikes. All righty, guys. So that's things to watch out for. We've got a lot of tension coming. Let me stop the share. Let's go back and talk more about these three options for that and then just everything in general. Good morning, Larry. So corrupt. Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And then I showed that other quote this morning or earlier today. It was power corrupts even when the intent is good, something like that. That's not the exact quote. But even when they mean well, it still corrupts. So that's the problem. Just power corrupts any way you slice it. I drank lake water in Baghdad in 2009 to 2010. That's where the Army got its water. So you there, Karen? Oh, you were there when they were put. Did you have to take that Ciprio? I got a friend here that took that stuff, and it has destroyed her digestive tract. Apparently, she has ulcers from her lips all the way through. And she's been battling. She's had a tough time. Tough time. It is good for humans to have a leader and someone to tell them what he's doing to a point, as long as it's all agreed to. To a point. All righty. Well, Eddie's all lovey-dovey tonight. That's good. All righty. So back to it all, guys. If we strike the proxies, we're just setting up for more escalation. If we hit the Iranian officials outside of Iran, that just makes them mad. We're just setting up for more escalation. Anything we do, everything's on an escalation ladder right now. It's on that escalator. There's nothing right now trying to tamp down the whole situation. Where are the statesmen when you need them? Where's James Baker when you need him? We don't have any James Bakers in government anymore, I don't think. We need statesmen. Where's the Ben Franklin? We need people like that. We need people that can use their intellect to work stuff out between all these warring parties, to find common ground and to negotiate some kind of better way forward than where we're heading. Whole situation. Well, yeah, but it's set up to be that way. If you take what Joe Scozen told Nate on Canadian Prepper, he said that the whole reason for having these bases in Syria and in Iraq was as bait, so they would get hit, so it would draw us in. So as if we wanted to be drawn in all along. Now, Israel is chomping hard for option one, to hit Iran directly. How much will Iran take that way before what is the threshold? What is the threshold to activate sleeper cells here? That's my question. Because the head of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps has said he had sleeper cells in the United States that had, at that time, many years ago, they had 20 of our large, most powerful key electrical power substations targeted. And what a lot of people don't realize is that you take down a certain number of these substations, you get cascading failures in the system, and it causes other substations to try to pick up the load, and they burn out. So you burn out the scads of substations. Now you've got scads and scads, hundreds of thousands of these machines that take 18 months to put on the loading dock if you got a system that can requisition them. But when the whole grid goes down, the money's gone because it's all digital. Your requisition system is all computerized. It's down. It's gone. And if you're going to lose, and the Congressional Task Force and the MP briefed Congress many years ago and said, hey, they estimated 9 out of 10 Americans would be gone in a year due to societal collapse. But I think they were assuming farmers would be able to grow some food, that people had gardens that were self-reliant. The chat dropped in and out for some reason. So I think it stands a big chance of being a lot worse. And I told that to Dr. Peter Vincent Pry when he was still alive. And he agreed. He actually agreed. He said, yeah, he said, we didn't take that into account when we did that study. Ooh, they didn't account for the spent fuel rod pools burning off either to nuclear power plants. No, they didn't account for that. So it can be a whole lot worse. Just some small number of little guys running around this country with side grinders and impact drills with lithium-ion batteries on them can bring this country completely down. worse than nuclear war. That easy, that simple. Like flipping a switch. All they got to get is the go word. Go, do it. And we're done. You know, I have chastised other channels for putting in their little thumbnails on it. It's over, it's over, it's over. And I said, it's not over. And no, it's not over yet. But if that happens for this country, as we know it, it's over. That's too easy. Too easy. I've been trying to get this grid hardened for years. They don't listen to us. It's like they don't want to do it. Is it because they don't love us and love our country? Us deplorables who cling to our Bibles and our nugs, according to HRC. Oh, yeah, that's what she said, right? Why? Why won't they harden the grid? They fight it. They've actually spent more money on lawyers to fight harden the grid from your ratepayer money, what you pay your electric bills. They take that and hire lawyers and fight doing the job they ought to do. They spent more money on those lawyers who were stationed up in K Street in Washington, D.C. Believe you me, I've been there. I know what's on K Street. I've been in those buildings. I've been in meeting rooms of some of those law firms on K Street. Oh, yeah. Know exactly where all those lobbyists and lawyers are at. K Street. That's the bulk of them. Oh, you got them in the Capitol Hill buildings, the Rayburn building, all those congressional buildings, Cannon building, blah, 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 Senate Hart building. Yeah, you got them all over there too. But they're principally on K Street. And those guys got enough money to harden the grid. They put enough money to get the grid hardened into fighting hardening the grid. They could have just done the job. It would have been easier to have done the job that they were supposed to do. It's just like our border. Why are we not stopping the border? Do we want a civil war? Do we want to bring this country down? What's one of the questions Tucker Carlson asked a long time ago? Oh, a few years ago. He asked a question. He said, how can a party that hates America run America? I think we got the answer now. Straight into the ground. That's an oversimplification. I'm sure there's a lot of folks in that party that love the country. They just have a different worldview. And not everybody. There's bad on both sides of the house. Plenty of it. Communal living by choice is not equal to living under a communist government. Exactly. That is very true, Jason. Very true. There's a difference when you have a choice and you don't. Big difference. Big difference. Oh, yeah, it sounds great in theory. It just don't work. That's the problem. A lot of stuff sounds great in theory. Rodney says, I heard on New York Prepper that Iran seized a massive Aussie tanker full of diesel. I showed one that was flagged from, maybe they got another one. The one I just showed earlier was flagged to Oceania, but it might have been, that's close to Australia. It might have been Australian. I don't know. I have to go back and see if there's some more news broke since we started this. I mean, news is breaking. I mean, right now, it's daylight over there. Operations may be beginning anew. I mean, it's daylight in the Mideast. Things are happening. We're moving the chess pieces into play. What is the threshold for activating sleeper cells here in America? Is it we hit Iran, or is it if we go for a decapitation of the Ayatollah type government? What's the threshold? Now, probably the vast majority of the citizens in Iran, if we don't hit them, if the attacks are very pointed at the leadership and their nuclear weapons program, then maybe the rank and file Iranians would be happy if we could get the regime off their backs. But, you know, when you attack a people, they take it personally. And so we're liable to flip them to supporting the Ayatollahs. I've always said if we just give them time, if we just give it time, the Ayatollahs will go away. And Iran will be a wholly different country, much more freedom living, wanting country. They want to live a Western style lifestyle for the most part in Iran. That's what the people there desire. They desire freedom, like people anywhere. But are we driving them into the arms of the Ayatollahs? I don't know. But then again, how do you not respond? I mean, what we need to do is pull our forces out of here's what we need to do. We need to do what Rand Paul said from the get-go, and his dad would have said years earlier, Ron Paul. Get our forces out. Why's our forces there in the first place? We got no business being there. But as they start getting hit, it's a harder case to make, especially those that want all this to happen. Read 2 books by Anne Ryan, We the Living and Anthem, to completely understand communism, what happens to the human when they drink the Kool-Aid, written by a woman who lived it and escaped it. There you go. John Baxter, you seem to be kind of in favor of communism. What's going on with that? Got my early rocket variety spuds already indoors. Well, at least he's a gardener. All right. Well, we are not a commune of like minds here. Apparently not. And that's okay. Because we get people with different minds and views in, then we can have a discussion. If we're only talking to the choir, we're not accomplishing anything. I think what we need in the world is a forum. I'm half a mind, if the world lasts long enough, I get my feet planted on the ground in Arizona, if I got time to do something, organizing a forum, advocating a forum, a marketplace of ideas, a place where people will get and sit down in panels with opposing views and have debates and discussions. Post it like TED Talks. The whole thing could be set up kind of like TED Talks, where people, I think in a free marketplace of ideas, the truth is what's going to float up eventually. It may take a while because everybody's got different worldviews. But I don't know about her politics overall, but one of the insights of Barbara Marx Hubbard, who was a big futurist in the World Future Society, she discovered that everybody was the same inside and really wanted the same thing, even though she didn't use the terminology of worldviews, I don't think. But she realized if you put all these people in a room and had them debate things out and work things through, that they would come to a like mindset. Now, one thing I used to do running organizations, when I used to run various committees like the Policy Committee of the National Space Society, or when I started HAL 5, I would find the guy that was most opposed to what I was doing. He didn't like what I was doing with the bylaws or something like that. Well, I'd pull him in a committee, maybe put him in charge of something, or in our policy committee. I'd find a guy. We had one of the vice presidents from Hughes Aerospace in our policy committee, and it'd be something he didn't agree with. Okay, well, I pulled him into it, and he would be debating and fighting against what we're talking about. But once we went through the committee process and made the decision, which is usually diametrically opposed to what he was for to start with, he would defend it to the hilt out to any outside organization. Because by then he bought into it. He was part of it. He had a piece of ownership in the decision made. And that's a powerful dynamic. So I think we could have some kind of a debating society, a forum. I think it could be run kind of like TED Talks, but it's not just one person speaking, but get people with opposing views together and let them talk. Not cutting each other down condescendingly. You're this, blah, 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 name call. No, you don't need none of that. Somebody starts that, poof, you're out. Bye. You're not part of the solution. Just to sit down and discuss things. You don't have to agree. You may never agree. But get some discussion started. At least people ought to be able to understand each other. There are very diametrically opposed worldviews in the world today. And there's reasons people have different worldviews. But down inside, we really want the same thing. That's a path to peace. At least, even if you don't agree, if you can understand each other, maybe you won't want to choke each other. The problem in the world today is all the hatred. They love hatred because they can use it as a weapon to turn us all against each other, to play us for their own agendas, divide and conquer. Look where we're at in America today. We're on the verge of civil war. In the world, we're on the verge of world war. I've made the case in my video, A Nuke In Every Pot, that with technological proliferation that's occurring today, we will not survive as a species if we don't find some way to get rid of the hatred, some way to come to terms. We will not survive. The ultimate prep is to get us out of that mind. The ultimate prep is prevention, is to get us out of that mindset. And that kind of goes along with the premises that and I probably wouldn't agree with them politically on political things, but Sir Martin Rees, in this book, Our Final Hour, he said we only have a 50-50 chance of surviving 100 years. I think he was very optimistic. We may have only a 2% chance of surviving the next 10 years, 5 years, especially the way we're going. We're fanning hatreds around the world as hard as it's like we got a blacksmith forge blower blowing at the fire. Every fire we can find, we're blowing air on it. We're throwing oxygen, high pressure, high acceleration oxygen into every little ember in the world. That's a terrible place to be. I'm a constitutionalist living in an incorporated country. Nukes are no longer the supreme weapon of terror. Well, biological weapons are a huge thing now. What's on your mind there, Jason? What do you got in mind? Income inequality is what Lenin meant, unfortunately. Well, a lot of emphasis on that is not productive either. People need to be able to aspire to greatness. They need some motivation, and to be able to earn something and get ahead is a powerful motivating factor. There's nothing wrong with that, but when you allow those people to game the system by getting in bed with the government to create special rules that give them favorship, then you messed it up. You see, that's where we're at today. We're a corporatocracy. We got the companies in bed with the government, and they make sure nobody else out there that's, the little guys can compete with these big entities. And they do it even at the city level, the local level, by going in and setting it up where a electrician has to get 12. My electrician told me he had to get 21 different certifications, and he had to take a test for everyone. Each one would cost him $1,000. So this guy spent $21,000 and take 21 tests and do a ton of studying just to go out here and put some circuits in the house. So what happens? Plumbing, HVAC, all these big companies that you find in the phone book that's got the, well, you don't have phone books anymore, but they used to. I guess they're on the internet. The big ads, the big, and here locally it's called Mr. Electric. I've hired Mr. Electric here. They sent kids out here, snot-nosed kids, didn't know what they were doing, made a mess. If you get the HVAC companies, they'll tell you, even when all you got to do is replace a little solenoid switch, they'll tell you got to replace the entire HVAC. That's, what, 10 grand now, 15 grand? It might be $5 is all you need. You get the old guy that knows what he's doing. Oh, yeah, I can fix that. It's just, all you need is this. So that's the guy I used to hire. Well, he's out of business now. He can't afford to operate anymore because the big companies drove him out. They claim it's all in the name of safety. These big companies hire a bunch of kids who don't have the experience. Now, they could get there, but that's not what they hire. They want to keep the wages low. So as a company, collectively, they cover all those certs and blah, 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 blah. My local plumber here, my next door neighbor, told me, he was talking about these guys that had showed him the paper from the certs, and he says, all right, we'll go fix this or do this. And the guy didn't know what he was talking about with real world devices. He was just, what? What's that? He had no clue. So you're not getting safety from all their standards and regulations and certifications. You're getting corporatism. You are getting favoritism. That is not a free market. That's a rigged market, and it's rigged for the big guy. John Baxter, go watch my freedom series of videos. Watch my videos about freedom and independence, and watch my videos about communism. I've done videos on communism and on the Chinese Communist Party. Go watch those videos. War has its place. That's a terrible place to be. You got to be able to defend yourself. And I do believe in peace through strength. I definitely believe in that. I do believe in self-defense. I have means of self-defense through the teeth. Lots of it. I have a lot of pet nugs. And they got plenty of feed. Their food supply is generous. You know what a nug is? Just take the word and flip it. All righty. So, what did Granny say? Jason says, there are two ways to defend against a threat: decentralization and development of better quality citizen. Oh, yeah. One is independent and capable of self-governance. That's the best one. And, to provide a field where everybody can participate and have a chance to make it for themselves. If you make everybody subservient, living off the dole of some higher entity, you've created a bunch of slaves. And in the end, they don't really have any hope. People have to be able to hope. They need to be able to have some pride in what they do. There's just a whole lot of elements to it. There is good and evil in everybody, Larry. That's why power corrupts. Power always corrupts. Being evil is a choice. That is a choice people can make. But if they make that choice, if you've got a society with checks and balances or enough good people in it, they can ferret that out, or at least know who it is and where they're at. Okay. And even on the internet, where you can vote for something or give stars to something, that's one way to do it. In a true market system, when you buy something, you vote for it with whatever you're purchasing it with. Will it be something that's got true value like this, which is made of gold, gold back, or this fake little piece of paper here, which is what most people want you to give them in this country still. Every time you spend one of these, you're voting for that good or service. You need to think about that when you go out and buy things. If you're buying stuff from those bigger entities that want to control and dominate, that's what you're going to get. It's control and domination. It might cost a little bit more sometimes to hire that local mom and pop person. But I'll tell you what, if you're getting your HVAC worked on, you're getting some electrical work done, it's cheaper than going to the big guy. My father is a sole surviving sibling of a Holodomor. Ooh, and his family is from Ukraine. He survived by breastfeeding past the usual age as a baby toddler. We know the American Indians would breastfeed their kids till they were 6 years old. That was a detriment to them in the long run because the moms weren't as fertile while they're breastfeeding. I mean, I guess it suppresses the hormones for reproduction. So the American Indians did not reproduce at the same rate that the white population that came here did. So the white people got over here and just outbred them. But as a survival technique, whatever it takes, there's nothing wrong with that. That was survival. And survival is very important. Let's see. Basically, did you see the engineer off himself for making the missile that blew up his grandma? Oh, I don't know that one. That might have happened. I mean, there's people that, may do something and they can't live with what they did. That's one thing. The great equalizer is most of us have a mirror in our bathroom. We got to look at ourselves at least once a day. Now, if you got no empathy, which means you're probably a sociopath or a psychopath, it probably don't matter that you look at yourself because you don't think about it. But for most people, that means something. And that is a common thread in humanity, is most of us have a sense of empathy. Most of us have a soul. And everybody, even the sociopaths and psychopaths, really, for the most part, want the same thing. How do you deal with society with sociopaths and psychopaths? Try not to put them in power. Recognize who they are. But that's who stands up and gives a good talk and assures people. And oh yeah, they're smooth. They're real smooth operators. Oh yeah, real smooth. They say exactly what you want to hear. They know how to do it. They know how to play the game. They're smart usually. The smart sociopaths and psychopaths, at least. They're dangerous. They wind up floating up and controlling corporations, controlling government. They do it around the world. The bigger the government, the more organizations, the more bureaucracy you got, the more niches you give them for power. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. That metastasizes and chokes and strangles a society. Any society that promotes bureaucracy is a society that's got a huge problem. The bigger the bureaucracy, the more problem. As our founding fathers taught us, and Reagan used to quite often quote, the government that governs least is the government that governs best is the government that governs least. I do subscribe to that philosophy. Trying to get some laughter with all this crazy stuff. Yeah, it's always good to laugh, yeah, even in the craziest of times. And we're some pretty crazy times right now. So, if you're in here and you got a different opinion, that's fine. I don't mind different opinions. I believe in freedom of speech. If you got a different opinion, you want to say it in here, I'm okay with that. There are channels out there that will ban you for that will ridicule you. Well, what does that accomplish? I'm trying to get people to have a discourse, have some discussion. See if we can come to like mind. If not, I've got a lot of good friends that are on, very different polar regions of thinking. Let's just put it that way. But we have some other connection, and I draw on it. In my family, my family, had some big divisions, but I got along with both sides usually. I'm the guy that could get along with these guys and these guys too. They might not get along with each other, but I understood the good in each one of them. There's good and bad in everybody. Once you see that and can recognize that, and if you got some common thread, you can have friends that disagree with you on a lot of major things. I've got a lot of friends that I disagree with in major areas. That don't mean I can't have them as a friend, because there's some other way we connect. Like, okay, I'm in organic gardening. I'm into worm farming. A whole lot of worm farmers and organic gardeners are far left in the political spectrum. Now, a lot of them were on my channel here to start with. A lot of them quit because I'm very conservative in terms of physical responsibilities. I have a libertarian streak, let's put it that way. And a lot of people don't like that. We're all weird, John Baxter, in different ways. Except me. Everybody but me. Some old long-haired rocket scientist. Yeah, that's an oddball. Most rocket scientists got real short hair and shave their beard off and wear little striped shirts and got the ink pens in them. I got tons of friends like that. And that's the way I dressed when I was in college too, by the way. Been there, done that. That's why I can make fun of it. Yeah. And I've had long hair and shaved it all off a couple times. So I got 2 master's degrees. Can tell you most in academia probably agree with John Baxter. I don't doubt that. John, name calling each other is out of control in this world. Yeah, I'm not into name calling. Let's respect each other. There are channels that on here that a lot of the people in this chat room are members of, where the person that runs it will get real big in the name calling. Let me just put it that way. I'm not that way. That's not my magic sauce. My son, my dad was a liberal. Believe it or not. My dad was a union president. Okay. My dad admired Mao Zedong. When I was young, I was a communist. When I was in high school, I was a communist. I learned better. Been there, done that. Got the t-shirt. Can you speak freely? Yeah. Just do it respectfully. All ideas are valuable to hear. We'll go watch videos on communism. I always enjoy the video. Okay, good. So Larry Smith knows that I tolerate differences of opinion. And I have protected people that come here with differences of opinion that other people didn't appreciate. Problem with receiving a degree from university is the one that runs the risk of making the assumption that one is an expert in their field of study. That's a big one. Just because you got, I know a lot of people with PhDs that I can run circles around in certain degrees, but what's a PhD mean? It means you're really good at doing a dissertation in college. It means you're really good at focusing very narrow toward that one thing. You're really good at that. Now, whether that's right or wrong, now you take watch any panel talking heads on these news programs. They're all got PhDs and they're generals or ambassadors or whatever they are. They're all arguing all the time, and usually both sides are wrong. Cowboy Rogers, how you doing? Good morning to you. It's still night for me. It was 4:27. If you have a car battery and jumper cables and 2 metal rods, you'll have worms. Yeah, but it damages their hearts. So if you want to have worms for fishing, that's fine. If you want to have worms to raise, no. I don't harvest worms that way and sell them because they'll die. It's bad for them. Anyway. Now you can fiddle for worms. That's a different technique to get them up if they're in the ground. That uses vibrations. Religious Societal says, yeah, we've got, that's why when we do the prayer sessions in here, I said, this is not a religious channel. I've got a lot of friends of many different faiths. My next door neighbor is Muslim. We get along great. He's got a really good heart. He's a good guy. I have worked. I've had bosses and Cuban mates that were Muslim. I've got friends of many faiths. So, and I understand that. Like I said, politically, I've had a big switch in my life early. One of the big eye-openers for me was when I got in the military and saw how government really worked. Oh, really? I had all these ideas, idealistic notions. Oh, when I saw the real world, so, oh man, that's a bunch of bull. I voted for Ronald Reagan when he ran for office. I went from being a far on the left to, that ain't working. I realized that real fast. When I got in the real world and saw how things really ran, it's like, no. Use a train transformer from a toy train kit. It still does some harm to them, Larry. It might be not immediately evident, but it still hurts them. So that's why I can appreciate different perspectives, because I have switched perspective. I've been a Muslim. I was a rabid environmentalist at one time. I was a member of the Cousteau Society when I was in high school. Jacques Cousteau, he said the whole world would be dead from asphyxiation by the year 2000. He thought all the creatures in the sea would die and all their bodies would float up and glaze the oceans over, and there'd be no oxygen produced. The whole world would die off. That's what he believed. His own Cousteau Institute released a little green thing. What is it? Growing fish tanks, just for the pet fish tanks. It's like a little seaweed, except it's not a natural seaweed. And there's no known predator. Nothing eats it. There's no known predator, and it's destroying the Mediterranean Sea right now. And Jacques Cousteau has done more sea damage than anyone ever did. He didn't intend that. He didn't intend that, but that's what sometimes the best of intentions don't always lead to good results. And, we all have limitations. We all have limitations. Every one of us, we're all human. We can only squeeze so many hours in a day. We can only absorb so much information. And our worldview is what we got to keep check on the most. That's the thing a person has the most trouble keeping check on is their worldview. When you let your worldview become flexible, when you can start seeing and understanding other people's worldviews. That's why I've talked about that so much on this channel. That's why I did a video called Rose-Colored Glasses. This was a lesson that was brought to my attention most succinctly by a what was he? He was a master sergeant, Sergeant Spivey, primary leadership school I took at Fort Richardson, Alaska. Black guy, real smart. And he really woke me up a lot. And that's, he taught me some good things. I appreciate that. I don't know if he'd ever listened to my video, but I wished he would. It'd be crazy if he just happened to be flipping through the channel and heard me mention him. That'd be awesome. I don't even know if he's still alive. I hadn't seen him since then. See, I remember when the kids, we played with lawn darts. Shoot, we used to play with games where we'd stick knives between each other's fingers and throw knives on the ground and, mumbly peg and root a peg and all kind of nasty games we played with knives when we were kids. Wonder we didn't cut our fingers off. Wizard's second rule, according to Terry Goodkin, the greatest harm comes from the best intentions. There you go. Exactly. And what's wizard mean? Wise one. So, what was Odin's biggest quest? Wisdom. He was a mortal god seeking wisdom. He is known by most as a war god, but he was also the god of agriculture and the god of poetry. A lot of people miss that. So over the thousands of years since then, I think wisdom would mellow him out a lot. As a seeker of wisdom, he would come to see things different. His worldview would be flexible. See, they will enjoy the story, absorb the lessons, and be impossible to control through illusion. There you go. That's where I think having a marketplace of ideas, a forum, maybe we could generate an organization that is all about a forum of ideas where people could just, don't have to agree. We're not trying to institute disinformation, misinformation, and control information. No. Bring it out, discuss it. Oh, you got this crazy idea over there. You're flaming with this. Okay, well, come here, sit down, and just be respectful and talk about it. Let's just see where you're at. A lot of this country is, well, like I said, they've been fanning the flames of hatred. Hatred is, it's the devil's tool. If you want to believe in the devil, a tool of evil, whatever you want to call it. They use it for control. It's very empowering to get people in a mode and mindset of hatred. Or you can get them to hatred and fear. The reason we have a Defense Department and spend trillions of dollars is because of fear. Really. But it's because we also got somebody on the other side of the pond that we fear. But the people there shouldn't be people we fear. It's because the country's got a leader just like we got a leader. And they play us against each other. Who knows? Like I said earlier, maybe it's just to them, it's a big Super Bowl game. And that's how H.W. Bush and Bill Clinton got along fabulously after all the elections. They'd be standing up there calling each other all kind of names, and then they were all buddy. How about that? I don't know what's happening. I see my buffering through my other screen. Hope I'm not buffering to you guys. My maternal grandmother was in a shipbuilding union in Norfolk. Very good stories. Lord of the Wings. Maybe some Orson Scott card. Okay. PhD is supersized egos. Yeah, they do have that pile higher and deeper. And that's pretty typical. I hope y'all hear me. Okay. See, the mind is like a sandbox. We're all born with the same amount of sand. Now, you can pile it up in one area, which you're really smart. That means you're really smart and good at this thing. You can make a lot of little piles. You know a little bit about this, you know, that, or you can spread it out and be like a jack of all trades. Now, a PhD or a prima donna gets really good at one thing. They take that sand and you pile it up into a tall spiral. Well, that's some people, they specialize. They take that sand and pile it up into a pinnacle. The problem is when they think to hide that pinnacle, that they have the same volume over the rest of the sandbox. Well, that sand's gone. They don't know anything over here, but they think because they're so smart here that it extends across the entire vacancy of the sandbox. That's a prima donna or a government official. So, or some of these so-called self-elected intellectuals that now called technocrats that think they want to govern you because they know better. See, that's what happens. And there's another problem with the sandbox. Sometimes a cat gets in it. Imagine that every person on Earth has a personal responsibility meter. It goes from 0 to 100. Whatever amount of responsibility one does not take is out there somewhere. There you go. Nyman's wife, how you doing? Need to figure out how to stay cool in Florida during the summer with no power, just in case. Yeah, you may be losing power, guys. Need to figure out just how to being the justification for someone else's authority. Oh, yeah, authority is something that we need to keep a check on. Randall Hill, there are some good things that get me down, like no coffee. That's a problem. Thank God I got coffee this morning. Praise the one who made the coffee. There you go. Yeah, we need to go. It's getting really late. It's 4:38 a.m. here, and I got to catch a couple winks. It's Monday already. I got a lot to do. I got a big week, a lot of work to do. If everybody had a personal responsibility, maybe the government would find a way to charge you. They'd try, yes, and we'd let them all too often. That's a problem. Is the social credit score a personal responsibility meter? No, that's them trying to control us. That's all that is, because they get to govern what it is. See, that's what's wrong. It's set up. It's a setup of control. But a person can not have more than 100% responsibility. If you take on additional responsibility, that person suffers as well. Amen. Amen. Brian Prendy, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you this morning. What are you doing up so early? Let's see. Either way, but he needs to butt out. Okay. What is that, Arnold? Yeah, we're about to call it a night here. So, yeah, it's Eastern time. It's early. All right. Thank you, Billy Bob. They'll tax us for breathing. Yeah, they'd love to. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Well, you exhale carbon dioxide. They're going to put that CO2 tax out there. Eventually, they get around the taxing us for breathing, for exhaling. Oh, you're creating poison. That plant food you're exhaling is poison. That's right, too. Man, we got too many people because they all breathe carbon dioxide out. Most beautiful thing in the universe is a baby. Hands down. Nothing compares. Trudeau. Oh my gosh. Now you're cussing. Trudeau. Ooh. Yikes. All righty, folks. Pound, we are the carbon. Yes, we're all made of carbon. By existing, we sequester carbon, don't we? Although we do breathe some out. We do sequester it. They won't give you credit for that though. Unless you pay us for a living. Making babies because they sequester carbon. Anyway, all right. So, guys, thanks, Greg. You're sweet, good-hearted people. Yeah, and we'll find a reason to laugh and you got to, guys. The world is insane. It's not us. It's not the people. It's the ones that we've allowed to be in charge. Gangsters all. Just remember, gangsters all. When they get percolating up, there's something wrong with them. If they want power, there's something wrong with them. You might vote for them because they're better than this one, but just remember, there's something wrong with all of them. There's something wrong with all of us, actually. We're human. But there's also something right with all of us. So we got to be able to recognize that and learn how to live with it. That's wisdom. Learn how to live with it. Learn how to make it work. And we may not have all that worked out yet. Now, Jason's got a lot of good ideas in that area. I really appreciate him. Carbon above the ground is available for life. Amen. Amen. So we've got to learn how to get along. If we don't, we will cease to exist with the technology that's coming to our fingertips in the next few years. If we don't learn to get along, we'll cease to exist. And right now, everything's going in the wrong direction. But that's because we allow people to put that into effect for their own power and aggrandizement. That's very short-sighted. They tell us they're intellectuals. They tell us they're smarter than us. How is that being smarter? I showed you the dichotomy of that in my freedom of speech video. Yeah, the dichotomy, where what they tell us is juxtaposition diametrically opposed to itself. What they say is diametrically opposed to itself, their own suppositions. Therefore, it cannot succeed and will not succeed in a free market of ideas. That's why they don't want a free market of ideas. That's why they want to control what they call disinformation, misinformation. And to them, disinformation, misinformation is anything that doesn't fit their agenda, whatever that may be. And you can get that from many different players and controllers. Yeah, many different clubs and associations and control networks and isms and this ism and that ism and this organization, that organization. See, these things will evolve and metastasize if we're allowed to in these directions by just competitive forces, if you allow an environment that permits that. What we need to do as a society, as a people, is wake up, understand how this works, and don't feed the beast. It's like, oh, you want cancer? Eat a lot of sugar. Quit eating sugar, and you don't have that problem so much. So much. I mean, there's other things that may instigate it, but sugars fuel to cancer. Well, they are a cancer themselves. Well, they're designs for control. Yes, let me control. You're mine. You're mine. You belong to me. We got to get out of that mode. Outgrow it. We don't need it. We should be smarter than that. For Pete's sake, it's the year 2024. We ought to be getting smarter, but we haven't done that yet. That's why I'm reaching out to you guys. That's why I make some videos that don't do so well on this channel. But if you watch them, like my video, Freedom of Speech, my video, Freedom, my video, read the book, Free to Choose by Milton Friedman. I don't agree with everything he said, and I actually think tariffs can be a good thing because you need it for your industrial base, especially where you got competitive militaries. But all that aside, it's a good read. Read pencil. There's a lot of sugar as a drug, yes. And we got a lot of drugs in our society, mental drugs, where people get associations that I will get money if I vote this way. I'll get tons of money if I vote for these guys. They forget they may be giving it to you and putting it in your right pocket, but they're taking it out of your left pocket, and they're just giving you some change back because they got to run their organization. Their organization is parasitic on society. All bureaucracies are parasitic. If we could get rid of the parasites, how well would we do? Government is parasitic. Big corporations they're very top heavy are parasitic in the marketplace. Oh yeah. We need to democratize society, economy, but do it in a free market fashion, a true free market, not one that's rigged by corporatism, by companies getting in bed with the elected folks. But that would happen naturally if it's allowed to. Our founding fathers are pretty smart. They come up with a lot of checks and balances. Maybe we need to think about some more. And some of them might just be to try to use shame or to shine a light on things. But that's what they don't want. Shining a light on things is disinformation because it does not agree with an agenda, whatever that agenda may be. I'm not saying what it is. It will happen in any set of organizations. You'll get to that kind of level if you allow those organizations to grow and metastasize to that level. In any organization, it's a one-party system, is going to be there in spades, like Alabama, even right here, where typically was one time was all Democratic Party, and maybe all Republican. As long as you're a one-party system, you're full of corruption by definition. If there's no competition, if there's not a free market of ideas, a free market of interchange. Yes, Jason, that is that. And that exists here in this country. It exists in China. They call themselves communists. They're really that. I don't want to say the word because it gets me in all kind of trouble with them Al Gores that have no rhythm. These little bots that are listening for keywords. Oh, he said so-and-so. Put the shock therapy on them. You know, that's what they like to do. We're on the precipice of World War III, Civil War, and all kinds of other mayhem right this minute. And these things could hit us any minute now. I mean, you know, tomorrow morning, the United States might do something that would so invoke Iran that they would activate their sleeper cells, and your lights might go out tomorrow. Tomorrow might be it. It could happen tomorrow morning. It might be the last. This could be the last cast I'll ever put on YouTube. It might be the last time you'll ever hear me. I hope not. I hope I'm here for years to come. But it is a possibility. Not saying it's going to happen. I would great predicting. No, I'm not predicting squat. I'm just saying it's a possibility. But possibilities are something, you know, there's a possibility you have a car wreck. So what do? You buy insurance. You get medical insurance, dental insurance, vision, and you get insurance of all these different kinds. Prepping is an insurance against the possibilities of what might happen. The problem is that things are getting too probable right now. The probability of bad things is escalating really fast. It's happened because the flames of hatred have been fanned all over the world. Didn't have to be this way. That's the key thing. It didn't have to be this way. Mainland is going into a deep economic crash. Oh, yeah. Now, Peter Zion will say the country will be over. You got to remember, they've endured famine and all kind of stuff under the CCP, and the CCP survived. So it don't mean that the CCP will crash. It might. The people might get tired of it and finally scoot it aside. But those people have been kind of tolerant of being told what to do, although they've been pretty unhappy of late. Maybe the day comes that they will say, we've had enough of this. China would be an amazing country if they had a system more like Taiwan. There's beautiful people in China, smart people, lots of them. You know, I've known quite a few of them. There are wonderful people with good heart and souls, good people of every race, color, creed, religion, every shire, hamlet, village, city, state, country. Anywhere you can look to find people on this planet, you can find good people. But every society has that same dynamic where the sociopaths and the psychopaths tend to percolate up. And if they got a society that allows for one-party systems, for isms, and control of information and classification of things they don't agree with is disinformation and misinformation, then there's a lot of room for mayhem. Good people everywhere. Amen. Amen. I don't want to hear no racism. I don't abide by that, because we're all the same inside. Now, What we need to do is find ways to get along in this world. Getting along does not mean you have to agree. It does not mean that. It just means you got to get along. You got to find some common ground and some way to respect each other somewhat. But now, when somebody's trying to tell you how to live and what you can and can't do constantly, that's hard to get along with. Because I don't want nobody telling me how to live my life. I'm pretty resolute about that. That's why I started the Freedom Restoration Foundation, one of the reasons. And I think freedom is very valuable. It's something to cherish and something we got to work toward. I just don't like being told, in the ideal society. See, I come up with this idea called the universal habitat. The whole purpose of that was to come up with a way to live that was the most beautiful, wonderful thing you could think of. That would be cheap. You could grow all your food in. It would be beautiful. And once we start building these things, I think nobody would want anything else. I would not ever tell somebody they had to live in one, though. I think that would go against the principle of who I am. But I like to come up with ideas so beautiful that that's exactly what everybody would want. And it just happens, coincidentally, it would have like 0 carbon footprint. Environmentally, it's the best for the people on the green side. It's far better than anything they talk about. But that's not why I put it out there. But what they wouldn't like is that it kind of promotes the idea of individualism and freedom. Well, they wouldn't like that at all. But it does. It is green. It's as green as you can get. You grow food in it. Of course it's green. It'd be, have greenery in it. But that is not the reason for it, but it would. It far superior to anything they want to do. We'll probably have to go burn some coal fields down and get carbon back up in the atmosphere if more people live in these things. We'll need more carbon in the atmosphere. So, anywho, that's why I want to start one of these days the Glacial Interlude Preservation Society, GIPS. If you remember, you'll be a Gipper. The whole purpose is to prevent the next ice age by kicking up the carbon content of the atmosphere. Anyway, so we have the science, trust the plan, or else. Yeah, well, their science may not agree with everybody else's science. Real science is open for discussion, for debate, for alternative theory to replace it, for somebody to disprove the experiment that you're running. Where does science start? It starts with a idea, a hypothesis. And a hypothesis is a very educated guess it's supposed to be based on a lot of stuff. It isn't just some random idea, by the way. And then you test it through a scientific method where you eliminate all the variables except for one, and you work that variable out, supposedly, but that's not how things are always done. And then you do an honest test, and then somebody else needs to verify it somewhere else. You need independent verification. And then once you get enough of these tests and verifications, then you can formulate a theory. A theory isn't just an idea you got in the scientific world. That's what a lot of people, that's the popular jargon for the word theory, but that's not really what it's supposed to be. And anytime something comes along and disproves it, then you got to go back to the blackboard and start over, or at least adjust things. And in real science, it happens all the time. Everything's up for question, or should be up for question. The problem is that we do this to organizations, and we do it with people, and they have biases, and organizations have their agendas. And you write a report as an engineer or scientist, and you float it up, it says X. And when it gets up there, it says Z. Yeah, when the managers get done with it, it comes out looking a lot different than what the engineer or the original scientist may have written. Humans are animals, that we are. I know what all humans are capable of. Yeah. And, usually people are looking out for themselves. Now, the beauty of free enterprise, if you take the Adam Smith approach, the invisible hand, is that even people with the right system, even people trying to serve themselves through the internal greed, the right system is it can serve to the greater good. Listen to the speech the president of Argentina gave at the World Economic Forum. Yeah. He put it out there. And I'm sure they didn't like hearing that, but that's what everybody needs to hear. Anyway, say that 5 times fast. What's that, Randall? hopefully provided that your testing method is not inherently flawed. Yes, that's why you need independent verifications and so forth. But everything begins with an assumption. Everybody has a worldview, and people are usually trying to prove what they already have in their worldview to be the case. And when you got a big collective organization with a collective worldview, they just try to reinforce that worldview they already have. Oh, yeah, there's the danger. It takes, that's why I said we got to get out of our own worldview. Our worldviews, we need to be able to have them a little bit plastic. I've completely changed my worldview from what it used to be. How many people do that? My worldview is very, very, very different from what it used to be. And I'm always willing to entertain a new idea. How many inventions died unexpectedly? Well, a lot of them just weren't any good from the get-go. But a lot of them don't survive because the way the marketplace operates, it's just, or they get repressed. Ringres, does anyone have authorization from you to play your videos live on their channel? I sent you screenshots. I have it. Oh, somebody playing my video? Somebody else? They should ask me first. You're supposed to ask. So who, you sent me screenshots? Where did you send them to? Plastic is malleable. Yeah, and so is metal. Metal is more malleable, typically. And some metals are more malleable than others. Ones that conduct best are most malleable. Copper, gold particularly, very malleable. Gold's a really good conductor. Why is that? It's because they share the outer shells of the electrons. It's called a common valence band. That's why electricity and heat flow through good conductors, by the way. But that also makes them malleable. Greg, it is me. It is me, what, Billy Norwood? I'm playing you live. Oh. Well, you need to ask ahead of time, Billy. That's all right for now, but I prefer people come into my channel because I need views. So ask people to subscribe to my channel. So if you're watching me through Billy, subscribe to my channel, watch my mini videos because you love me. Subscribe to Green Greg. Subscribe to Swivelhead News. If you like space, go to Galactic Greg's and subscribe. You can find links to these channels in many of my videos I post, and also sometimes on my community page. All right, guys, we have been on here way too long. It is way too late, and I got to go outside and check my worms and my rabbits again. This was a worm harvest day. I will tell people, Greg, yeah, share. Look, I just showed you a channel where the guy had a 12-minute video. He talked in that video for 3 minutes. The rest of the video was he was playing copywritten content from other news sources, which is illegal. That without editorializing or commenting on them. And I don't know how he got away with that. I don't know. He's got a monetized channel. And the things he said weren't correct. I corrected part of what he said. I even put a comment on his channel in the comment section to say, no, it's this. That's not the case. That video got, what, 500,000 views or something crazy in like 8 hours. His channel's only twice as big as mine. How does he get? He puts out like, 12 videos a month, and he's got views. My views are like down here at the bottom. His views are like up here at the top of the scale. Platform don't love me, I guess. So I need your help. Share my videos. Share my videos. Tell people to go to my channel. Tell them to subscribe. We need help over here. Another thing, if you're playing somebody else's stuff, you need to ask them, because it's all, when a creator creates something, it's legally already copywritten. You don't have to put a C on it for it to be copywritten. Any new creation, any video, content is actually legally protected as copyright material. Hey, old Fort Bragg, how you doing? What's happening at Fort Bragg? I hear there's a lot of mobilization going on right now. How old is that channel? Probably not that old. I think I could go back and check. There's a lot of channels out there that are like new, and they grow like straight up. Some of them do. I can find them on here. That's not it. I might have closed it off. That's a Fox News channel there. Let's see. What did I do with that video? There it is. Go check that guy's channel. Give me a second. I can find out. Now, what it says on how old a channel is doesn't mean that's how long they've been posting videos. The way to really find out is you go click videos and scan for the oldest. That tells you how long they've actually been posting. He's only been posting for 1 year. 1 year. He's only got 164 videos. I got 1,400. He only talked for 3 minutes, maybe 4. And he's got 120-something thousand subscribers. And he's got way more views, off the chart more views. Maybe he's just a lot better than me. I don't know. That's just odd. You know, only video I watched, maybe I got the worst one he ever made. I don't know. He didn't do his homework. He really didn't do his homework. But maybe I'm taking things wrong. Maybe I'm doing too much homework. Maybe I'm spending too much time. Maybe I should shoot from the hip. Because obviously I'm doing something wrong. That's why I post my short stories to my channel members until I have enough for another anthology book and they safely copyright and I can get feedback and edit accordingly. Okay. Guys, we got to go. Many aircraft flying, C-17s, A-864, U-860s, and more small jets. Yeah, we're mobilizing right now. My understanding is we got a whole bunch of tanker aircraft en route right now for a big operation. Maybe kicking off anytime now. Anytime now, guys. I assume that when I take my nightly nap and wake up, it's maybe a different world. I just hope we still got electric power. So we got to go. It's 5 a.m. my time. Seriously, I got to go, guys. Been on here for, that can't be right. It says 86 minutes. I ain't believing that. Let me hit the refresh button. Is that right? 2 hours. Okay. It's been more than 2 hours, I think. Yeah, we've been going a long time here. So only got one little super chat. So talking about probably all we get out of this. 6 stratotankers. I've heard 6, but I've also heard like 9. I'm hearing different numbers out there. So I don't know, guys, how many it really is. I've heard 6 from one source and 9 from another. That's why I earlier said 6 to 9. Yeah, it's time to hit the sack. Time to hit the hay. Well, we had a good long discussion tonight, but the bottom line, the takeaway is this. We don't know how long we have now. We really do. This is what you need to take away from this. We do not know how long we have. You know, I said it's kind of like musical chairs. At some point, the music's going to stop, and you got to sit down, and what you got's all you got. When the lights go out, the musical chair game is definitely over. When they go out for good, if that's what happens. There can be any of the things that would get you in a situation like that where it's the end of the musical chairs. It may not be the lights go out. It might be the economy crashes. That might be the enact martial law. If some bad players get mixed in. Now, that convoy, they are calling for peace. They were calling for prayer. That's all they want. Doesn't mean some bad actors might not slip in there and do something ugly. Then they get blamed for it. So we got to be mindful. Anytime you get involved with something like that, there's always somebody out there who would like to go in and mess it up. Some outside organization who has the intent of doing that from the get-go. Who would like to besmirch something. They like to make people on the other side of the spectrum look bad. They'll do whatever they can if they see an opportunity to do that. So if you're a part and party, of a peaceful protest. Make sure it stays that way. And if people are getting out of line, call them out. Call them out. No, that ain't right. Get out of here. You're not true. You're not one of us. Call them out. You're not one of us. You're not about us. You're up for evil. Be gone. Identify yourself. Challenge them. Identify yourself. You're not part of us. What are you doing? Tell us who you are. Get out of here. We don't want no part of this mess you're trying to start. We're here to bring attention to something. We're trying to do something peaceful. You got some other agenda. That's no part of what we're trying to do here. Call them out. Don't put up with it. Thank you there, Cowboy Rogers. That's true. All righty, folks. You're right, Billy. Billy Bob Norwood. Thank you tonight for the super chat. Salute Billy Bob Norwood. All righty. And I'm going to say, I have my P38 ready. There you go. Yeah, we used to have it with our dog tag. They'd issue us one when we went in the Army, a little can opener called the P38, which is named after the aircraft. I guess it was a can opener too, to take out ships or tanks. Little P38. It's a good little can opener. And my little Swiss Army knives, the Tinker version, has one built in it. They have one on the table here. Yeah, I don't know. It's a little built-in can opener. It works just like the P38, except it's probably more durable than that little folded piece of aluminum that we used to carry on our dog tags in the Army. So, yeah, have your P38 ready. That'll open some cans. Amen. Don't need any power. Get manual tools. Have manual tools. Keep your gas tank full. Get whatever food, preparations, water purification, sanitation stuff you can get. Do it right now. Don't waste any time anymore. Time to waste it's not here anymore, because things can go south any minute, any second. We don't know. We just don't know. But the possibilities are there. We're messing around with a country that has told us they got sleeper cells in this country that are dedicated to taking down our power grid. The Hague Fortnite, salute to you. Thank you for that awesome super chat. I appreciate that. €6. Wow. Where are you at, the Hague Fortnite? All right. Charles Stansbury, what the terrorist ever caught across the border? Oh, we don't know. He slipped into the country. We got no idea where that guy is, or the many, many thousands and thousands like him. We don't know where they're at. We don't know. We don't know. That's the problem. That's why we need a border that doesn't allow people to come through unless they've been vetted. And when they do come through, we need to know where they're at. And if you want to come here and live here, apply for citizenship, get a visa, or apply for do it right to start with. We have a process. Anything outside that process is illegal. It needs to be recognized as that. Homemade fermented honey and garlic and sauerkraut. A couple things to keep you healthy. There you go, Bill Bradford. Detroit, Netherlands. You're from the Netherlands. Very good. Thank you for being here. What do you think about the farmers' protest over there in the Netherlands? The Hague Fortnite. All right. Okay, the border will. Okay, that border will come to a fruition on February 3rd. Well, that's when they're going to be out there with a convoy. Hopefully they can draw enough attention to this. And the whole little scam that the president and the Senate's trying to pull over on us. You know, that little deal they're trying to bring up. Anyway. The eclipse. Yeah, that will be interesting. Well, but pectin. Yeah, pectin is good to use Alaskan salt for that. Elderberry plant. Yeah, I got elderberry going wild here. I need to take some I need to gather some of that and take it to Arizona. Alrighty, guys. Farmers protest in France. Oh, yeah, all over Europe they're having protests. Germany. Oh, yes, all over Europe from what I hear. Alrighty, folks. I have I can't even pronounce that, Randall Hill. Pedicum iodine coming from the mail. Okay. Guys, get your stuff ready. Get ready. altitude balloon. Birmingham, Alabama, northeast Birmingham, Alabama right now. Dang, it's going to be daylight in a little bit. You'll be able to see it if it's out there. Now, you can see, good time to see a balloon is sunrise and sunset because they shine like a star in the sky because of where the sunlight reflects on them. You can really see them at sunrise and sunset real well. Can't see them in the middle of the night. Can't see them at noon. The sunrise, sunset, oh yeah, they shine. Well, if you know where they're at, you can see them at noon with a telescope, but they're hard to see, especially at high altitude. Potassium iodine. Okay, that makes sense. Potassium iodine. Gotcha. Potassium iodine. All right, folks. Get ready, folks. Seriously, get ready. We just don't know when the music's going to end now. It's like the fat lady in the opera. She's just about done singing. And she's liable to sit down any second. Prep like there's no tomorrow, guys. You're right, because there may not be, at least in the world as we know it. I mean, the world keeps spinning, but are we riding it or not? I don't know. Hey, Brian, that's what we need to be doing. Northern Growth Hobbies. Right. All right, folks. Thank you, Super Chatters. Thank you, mods. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And share my videos. Go in them and comment on them. Comment on other people's comments. Be respectful, though. It's not necessary that we all agree. We don't. Everybody's got a different worldview. That's okay. We got to learn how to get along. Okay? Freedom of speech. And that's why I always tell you guys this. As light dispels dark, love dispels hate. What sign you love light in the world? Be the beginnings. Be the change you want to see. And that's one good way to get that started. But get ready. Be prepared. She's hitting that high note. I think you're right. We are in perilous times. I ain't never seen anything like where we're at now. Like I said, it's not a black swan. It's a flock of black swans. It is getting crazier every day. Every time you open the news, it's something new and it ain't pretty. So this is one. Oh yeah, well, most of it don't even make the news. Like this whole border thing, it's barely covered. Taylor Swift, oh, that's in the news. That's what you need to know all about Taylor Swift. Who's she? And who's that woman? Oh yeah, before you go, who's the woman that got an $86 million award for being defamed? I don't even know who she is. Her fame is so important, it's worth $86 million. And I don't even know who she is. Really? All political, guys. All games. Anyway, guys, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching. And with that, I'm going to say take care and good night or good morning, whichever the case may be. Hope you have a good day.